Hey, I have two thoughts.
Oh,
Two
damn.
thoughts. What up?
So,
Where'd you meet him? No kidding.
this nigga right here. All right. So two things. For one, that JD versus Diddy versus JD, you kill Puffy. He kill him. JD catalog go way too deep. Way too deep.
Yeah.
That's one. For two, was anybody else kind of weirded out when you saw the brat pregnant?
I was.
I was.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful thing.
No, I'm not saying it's not beautiful. I just always thought that maybe she wouldn't be the one carrying.
I did too. I thought that too.
Just because she was the more, but I don't know how that works.
Then
It's
they
a beautiful
flip a coin
thing.
or some shit.
Anytime a new life is brought into this world, it's a beautiful thing and it's a blessing.
Yes.
I was just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that one.
Hey man,
And the brat is like 45.
easily offended podcast, man.
What's weird?
We are definitely here in the building. Episode 36?
Some shit like that.
This would be 36.
36.
This will be 36.
You know what I'm saying? 36 in the building.
Well, goddamn.
You know what I'm saying? We got a special guest.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? Sagittarius definitely in the building today because me and her birthday are the same day.
Well,
You feel me?
Over here.
You know? So she's always been going viral for a long time. I remember following her on Instagram. She used to have these rants.
Oh damn.
And I used to be like, damn. And I used to inbox like, gee, like, what? You need a podcast for real.
Nah.
And before you knew it, she had one. And I was just like, I tune in every week, every time she posts something. I got to give it up one time for Bea-Bad is definitely in building from Tactless Radio.
Hello.
Where's the button, bro?
Hit the
Where's
button,
the
nigga.
button?
Where's my motherfucking button?
What? Thank you. Where's the cat?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
I was flowing.
It's Women's
go-
History
for real.
Month.
We gonna
Don't
take
cheat
that
me.
responsibility
Don't
away from
cheat
you.
me.
Yo ass, man.
I was slowing that one. My bad. I'm sorry.
You like pushing doorbells and shit.
Welcome.
Welcome to the
welcome.
Easily Offended
Pleasure.
podcast.
Hello,
Yes,
gentlemen.
yes,
How
welcome.
are you? How are
Chilling.
you, my beautiful black men?
You are like our first woman guest.
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
you are.
Oh, another
goodness.
moment in women's history.
There you go.
And Black
right,
History.
During Women's History Month, I am your first woman guest. You know what?
That's pretty cool.
I love that. Thank you
pretty
so
cool.
much. I feel honored.
Yeah, you should
To
You should-
be
you
here.
should
I
feel
feel
honored.
honored to be here.
Such
Thank you
Such
so
a wonderful
much.
distinction.
Thank you.
Right, we've had like a great conversation beforehand. Like we should have recorded most of that shit we was talking about earlier.
Yeah, we definitely
We definitely,
could have used that for some B-roll or something.
I know, right? Next time we just gonna have another camera, and just have it just rolling,
Indeed.
just so we can just catch that beforehand. The turn up, you know what I'm saying?
And the greens.
So we definitely. How's everybody's week been? I heard you got your feet done for the first time. I saw that.
Yeah, man. I had a lot. So you know what's crazy? So I got my feet done. So now my feet are soft.
Right.
And shit. So I go to jiu-jitsu class where like having soft feet doesn't necessarily aid you.
Oh,
Now
you
I'm on the
slipping
mat
around?
and I ripped a big ass plug of skin
Ooh.
off of my heel. So now it's like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up actually.
So you're probably not doing that again.
I mean, so no, I'm not saying that. I don't think I'm going to be going like every 2 weeks and no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It was a surprisingly delightful experience. I was.
It is.
Little Asian woman. She was massaging my feet.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like I paid for the little whatever she put the honey glazed. Not honey glazed. It wasn't food, but there was like some honey shit going on in the tub, and she was like,
Did she put the little fishes in there for you?
Nah, it wasn't no
Put the
fishes.
fishes in there.
It wasn't no fish.
Yeah, you know, sometimes they put fish in the water
the
and they would
skin?
just eat your dead skin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Crack
that
it.
was. Well, other than that, man, I had to get used to going back to the office again.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's my new gig.
Yeah. So that's been interesting. It's been, you forget how much freedom you have when you work from home, like all the time. And then you go back to the office and you actually got to like be around people. And then like,
I can imagine.
you know what I'm saying? It's pretty, it's been pretty interesting.
I feel you.
But yeah, man. But they offered me too much money for me to not. So you know what I'm saying?
I can put up with Bob at the water cooler.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Get your money.
A great urban philosopher once sang the words, cash rules everything around me.
Okay.
Cream get the money. Dollar bill.
Well, damn.
So there you go.
Well,
I
damn.
know that scripture as well.
Oh yeah. So
scripture.
I'll be
Hallelujah.
going in the office 3 days a week.
Hallelujah.
That's
3 days
what I
after
meant.
week.
Yeah, so you know.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
How was your week, man?
It's been pretty easy. I started a new job Monday as well, finally. So.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
Yes, but I'll still be working from home. But
Okay, well, congratulations on the new gig. I ain't really, how you been? What you been up to this past week? You know you be moving and grooving. Okay. One moment she in LA, next moment she here. She just
damn nice.
Get a peace of mind.
Very nice.
I just got back from LA.
Okay.
I was out there seeing family. My sister was a part of LA Fashion Week, so I was out there to see my sister walk and be the tall model that she is.
Okay.
Came back and just have been locked. I work remotely, so moment I step back, been working, training, teaching. So this is like the first time since my training has been over that I can like step outside.
Okay.
So I'm excited about it.
Oh damn.
That's what I'm talking about.
Do the damn thing.
I've been on a job search, man. I'm tired of AT&T.
For real?
Yeah, man.
Hey man, look in the Salesforce, man.
For about a month, I just been like trying to find anything to double that salary and just get up out of there. Just customers just irritate me.
Well, damn.
Yeah, that's what I can't. I've always I identified very early on in my life that I can't deal with the public. Like for work, I wouldn't have a job.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I
you know, I'm a people person, so like I talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so
but
like,
you could talk to them if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, having to talk to people.
Yeah, having to
and
talk
talking
to
people because you want to are two very different fucking things.
Having to be nice when they cussing you out.
Yeah, like it's a reason to kick an old man down the stairs, but you just don't do it. You feel what I'm saying? And that's how I feel at work sometimes when dude be trying to curse me out because he don't know how to work his iPhone.
Wow.
Because he's 78 years old, and who told you to get an iPhone?
Right. You need a rotary.
And then he's going to call. Well, I don't think you know what you're doing, fam. I know what I'm doing. Your old ass don't know what the fuck you doing, but I can't say that.
Morgan Freeman.
No.
I got to be like, you know what, man, sir? Let me give me your goddamn phone. Let me just work it out for you.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? I went to go see Stove God Cooks at the Promontory.
Stove got cooked.
Yeah, Stove God Cooks. You know what I'm saying? That was a great show.
Nice.
I got way too intoxicated that I imagined to be.
Fun times.
Yeah,
So usually I would go.
and it's good to like go to places that you just get love because I left out the crib and left my wallet, so I ain't had no cash. I was like, fuck, I ain't got no money.
Yeah, your link card?
No, I wish I make too much for like I can't get a link. I wish I could.
Like my man hooked you up.
But when I walked in, you know, it's Promontory, so I used to work there, so I don't never pay to get in there anyway.
Nice.
So the bartenders, they looked out for me all night, not even a word. I was like, yo, I left my wallet. They're like, dog, you good? What you drinking?
Well, that's beautiful.
So it was a great night. But then by the end of the night, it was just more and more going on. But the show was great. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my nigga Mitch. We was supposed to have an interview set up for one of the opening acts for the show. He signed the Rock Nation, but our times couldn't make it happen. Yeah. But you know, he's like, man, next time I'm in town, you know what I'm saying? I talked to his people, so he's like, next time I'm in town, man, I'm definitely gonna stop by, show love. So shout out to Mitch and everybody at the Promontory, man, showing love. That was a great thing. You know what I mean? So what we talking? Oh yeah. So the Summer Fest. So Friday was the last day for you to buy your tickets for $79.
Damn.
Monday morning, the new price gonna pop up, and I know y'all people out there is gonna be kind of upset. But
what's the new price?
I don't know yet. I say it'll pop up Monday.
Hopefully it's $70. If hopefully it's $80.
It won't be.
It won't be.
It won't be. It won't be.
It won't be. It won't be. It's probably going to be close to 100. It's probably going to be close to 100. I mean, they got a great lineup, so you know what I'm saying, and they still adding more people. So we got they got 3 stages this year instead of 1.
Whoa.
So they're doing a DJ stage.
Okay.
They are in the works of trying to work out a small podcast stage.
Okay.
And then they're going to have a main stage.
All right, then.
Also, that what we've noticed is that they're going to have VIP risers. in the lawn part where it'd be like rised up and you would have it'd be an open bar and food. But you know, black people, you don't know how much free liquor's gonna be, and you don't know how much food is gonna last.
And you know what was hilarious last year? Well, like the first day, where everybody was like bringing their own liquor in.
Yeah.
And then that second day, they was like, nah, nigga. We checking everybody's shit.
Everybody's shit.
Everybody open your bag up.
Open that cooler up, fam.
That line took so much longer.
Are the prices up?
I just want to let everybody know that currently where the 2-day general admission pass rate starts is at $149 with a service fee of $24.05.
Hey, those service fees be out of control.
Service fee?
Them service, them man. Yeah,
so it's $150 for one ticket or two tickets?
It's about $150 for one ticket.
But there goes my dates.
With the service fee. Service fee and tax. You're going to end up paying about $200.
That's without the service fee. You are paying about $175 for general admission for 2 of those days.
I'm going to bring ramen noodles.
But this is the first year they get.
That's for 2 days?
For 2 days, $150 plus $25.
That's not bad.
That's not that bad. That's not bad.
So about $175 for 2 days.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Okay, that's not
person.
That's not real bad. Huh?
Oh, yeah, that's not that bad.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like one day.
I mean, they got a pretty good lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got it. And they still added more people.
Oh, yeah.
They still added more. But the last year, like, he's really going hard this year because last year he was running for Congress.
Yeah.
So this year, Jonathan was like, now he's not running for Congress. Now he can really home in and focus like this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, his whole goal is to make it as big as the Roots Festival or Dreamville and stuff like that. But, you know, in the very beginning of this whole thing, Chicago wasn't a big market for that type of event because there's Lollapalooza, Riot Fest, Pitchfork Festival, all those other festivals. So, like, for Hyde Park Summer Fest to get what they got so far, it was good. He was like, we had a couple of big names that we just couldn't make happen because a lot of times when these artists sign to these other festivals, you cannot perform 90 days before, 90 days after, or in a 100-mile radius.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
It's just serious. It's
serious.
Whoa.
So like you can't go past those contracts. So, you know, they made it happen. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time. You know, make sure y'all go get your tickets. And it's installment payments. You can pay in installments.
Okay, then.
Niggas love Afterpay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Go ahead and get your Klarna on.
Right.
Go ahead and get your Afterpay on, your PayPal, paying for interest
all that
rates.
shit.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
I got my rush card ready, nigga.
Is that still a thing?
I don't even know, bro.
I don't know.
Rush card?
I don't think so,
bro.
Yeah, I don't know if that was replaced by the Cash App card.
Probably.
It is, yes.
Okay,
I think since Russell Simmons fled the country and just stayed in Bali for those charges,
I'm out of here.
I think Rush Card just went down. Like,
that shit is. This nigga Rush just said, you know what, Joe?
I'm out of here.
I'm just gonna leave.
Shorty came out with the documentary on HBO. He was like, you know what?
I'm out.
Can you book I need a house in Bali. And we're just gonna go.
And who was that when when all that shit was happening with Ye? And then Russell started like talking about that shit. He was sitting in his little house in Bali with his legs crossed and shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, nigga, you are accused of rape.
multiple times.
Right.
This is not just one. He's in Bali chilling.
Now, I mean, and it could be I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
The key word is non-extradition.
Right. I'm sure he didn't choose Bali at random, nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's
Countries that don't have an extradition treaty with the U.S.
Yeah.
You see, he wasn't at the
Bali
Grammys.
is nice.
He wasn't at the Grammys.
Russ ain't been at shit in America since that happened.
Ever.
He said, I'm a Zoom to the Grammys. Guys.
And you know what? We didn't talk
He wasn't
about
here for
this.
the Hip Hop 50 and none of that.
Right. You know what made me mad? And I was watching the interview with JD because him and Currency's come out with an album together Tuesday. And he was like, you know, the South doesn't get the respect that it deserves. And he was like, and especially in Atlanta, he like, that whole 50, nobody from Atlanta.
Except for Big Boy.
That was it.
That was it, yeah.
And he was like, for the one person that needed to be on there was Luke. Because he's the reason why the parental advisory is on every fucking CD, rap CD
Luke
ever.
Needs to be on there.
A little hip hop history right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Band
He was like,
USA.
he should have been on there. He like, bro, that's that sticker alone. Even if he didn't rap or say anything, just for them to play the song and him to just wave his hand up would have been good enough for me. But y'all get a smack in the face for that, man.
Hey, but you know, New York, and you know, it was the New York people that were putting it on. They're hip hop elitist, even though like the hip hop, the time for New York running hip hop has long gone. That shit died out with the Source. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like New York, like I mean, because you had Pop Smoke, he came out and was still pretty big.
Yeah, but he's trying to be Southern.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, obviously R.I.P. Pop Smoke, but outside of that, you had Joey Badass. You know what I'm saying? But they
I love Joey Badass.
Yeah, I fuck with Joey Badass. Joey Badass is super talented. But outside of that, man, there ain't really a whole lot of people in New York right now that's like, you know what I'm saying, especially in terms of new people that's running hip hop. Like the South been running hip hop for a long time.
At least 20 years.
Yeah, for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially
ever since that Source Award, when Andre 3000 came up and was like, y'all see who the fuck is running shit around here? Damn near started a whole fight at the Source Awards. That has been the reign of the South since. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Hey, because they was booing Outkast. They was up there accepting the award. They booing Outkast because it was in New York. You know what I'm saying? And New York, they had no respect.
No respect. And you know, somebody from the South should have made that a T-shirt.
What's that?
The South got something to say.
I'm sure.
I'm quite sure.
Because remember they put that shit on the Quimini. It was on the outro of one of them songs. When he said that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like it was.
After he spit those bars.
But I don't know if it was a coincidence or not. But you know, after that, Quimini got 5 mics. So. Yeah.
Proof is in the pudding.
There you go.
Well, damn.
Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. Well, damn.
So,
you know, all my favorite rappers are from the South anyway.
Who you listening to? What music you listening to? What you vibing out to?
So as of recent, because I was just talking to the guys, we were having an amazing conversation about female MCs.
All right now.
One of the women that I have been on right now, her name is Miss Cash. She has this song called A Man.
Ooh.
Bomb ass shit right now.
Okay.
Because I am a Chicago girl through and through.
Let's go.
So I grew up on a lot of old school music. I blame my daddy for that. So I grew up on a whole bunch of like the Gap Band. I grew up on Earth, Wind and Fire. I grew up on the Isley Brothers. So when I hear a good sample from them, I'm plugged the fuck in.
That's good.
Right.
So I've been listening to a lot of Miss Cash as of recent.
Let's go.
I also, of course, love Tierra Whack.
Right.
She's been really fantastic for me. A Chicago local, No Name.
Yeah, No Name is always
going to give you like the lessons, the learning, and the teachings that you need. So those have been some of the women that I've been listening to as of recent.
I've had an issue, not the issue. I could never really get into No Name, because I saw her perform a couple of times. And she just, I don't know if it was just, maybe I might have caught her on a bad day or something. I wasn't feeling the performance.
That's understandable.
You know what I'm saying? But she's also one of those people that I recognize makes good music, maybe just not for me.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of people fuck with her.
I saw her. She opened up for Anderson .Paak and Thundercat. She did a decent job.
That was one of the ones I saw I didn't like.
That was one?
I was at that show.
That's
I was.
fair.
I was.
At Northern Island,
Northern
right?
Island.
Yep.
Yeah, back in 2019. Yeah, I was there.
The good old day before COVID.
Well, damn.
Right, yeah.
Well, damn.
Artists have really had to change up their shit since COVID. Like, have to figure out a way to get their artists, to get their audience, to figure out how to like stand above everybody else since COVID. Because back in the day, you had your sect of fans. And you knew how to speak to them because that was your artistry. And now because of COVID, you have to figure out through social media, through technology, how to really connect with your peoples, because you're not able to do a show like you can just for them to come out and get to know you. You gotta like get to know everybody through social media.
Right. Yeah. And
it's very difficult for a lot of artists to translate that through social media, where a lot of artists are prepped and primed to get to know a lot of their artistry and to get to know their fans through the stage.
Right.
Indeed.
I think we're paying the price for these tickets.
We are definitely paying the price for these goddamn ticket prices.
Hey, man.
I just want to say. I just want to say.
What?
Fuck Ticketmaster.
Oh.
That's all I want to say. I just wanted to get that out.
Fuck y'all.
I just want to get that out, but fuck Ticketmaster.
They would legit
and I'm done.
double the price of your ticket with them goddamn fees, Joe.
Wow.
And you know who else was on some bullshit? Not on the going to the movies. A.M.C Theaters. You know they charge if you want to sit like in the middle
per
of a good
seat
seat.
Now, yeah.
They charge an extra fee.
Crazy.
To sit like they call it preferred sight lines.
Yeah.
Preferred sideline.
Preferred sight line.
I
was about to go see Creed, right? It was if I wanted to sit in the middle, I had to pay an extra $2 per ticket.
Wow.
Like, I'm not finna go sit in the middle any goddamn way, because whatever seat you pick, I'm not sitting there. I'm sticking in the seat.
Well, sir. Because in the land of reserved seating, because I didn't definitely have to walk up on many a nigga like, hey, Joe.
Yeah, for real.
Doing my shit.
Yeah,
E
1 and 2. This me player. I got to know what I'm saying. You gonna
See, me, I wait. See, I'm taking my son to go see Creed tonight. So, like, I waited. So the crowd ain't going to be there.
Oh, I see. You ain't going to premiere night.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, I'm going to just go sit.
Right.
Hey, we can sit wherever, fam.
Right there. It's going to be empty in this bitch.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
smart,
crazy.
Yeah.
What else is crazy in the world, man? I know you got some crazy news, and we don't even know what the crazy news is. This is the highlight of the show, because whatever he's about to say,
Oh, damn.
we don't
Drum
even
roll,
know
please.
what the fuck he about to say.
Oh, damn.
Let me get ready.
Okay.
This one isn't quite as wild. It's definitely hilarious, though.
Oh, snap.
All right. So, 2 niggas in Virginia.
Oh, this is already bad. Damn. 2 niggas in Georgia.
Now, if it was Florida, it would be really fucked up.
Oh,
Right.
damn.
That's another story.
know, yeah.
Florida man, really fucked up.
Most of this shit comes from Florida, but not today.
Okay,
These
Virginia.
All right.
Shout out to
niggas is
Virginia. What's going on?
2 niggas was from Virginia
All right.
escaped from jail.
Oh, damn.
It was some shit straight out of like Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, damn.
Y'all seen that movie? Everybody
Yes,
seen Shawshank
I saw that.
Redemption?
Yes, yes.
Familiar.
So they used primitive tools
What?
to dig through the wall
Wow.
and escape.
Okay.
So they dug through the wall
All right.
and they were able to get onto the yard and then climb over the fencing outside, right?
Okay.
So they escaped, right? So just out of curiosity, you escaped from jail.
Right.
What would you do?
Get as far as possible away from that jail.
First thing
and
I would
change my
do-
clothes.
Change my clothes
Change
and
my
take those
clothes and
chains
get
off.
the fuck away.
It's not like it's a jail USO. Where you gonna go to do all this? Just saying.
At that point, I'd rather be naked than have a goddamn jail clothes.
Yeah, because if you're in that bright yellow or tan jumpsuit, like
They
everybody
know
know
where
where
the
you
fuck
know
you
what I'm
came
saying?
from.
As opposed to walking into Walmart naked. Can I get a shirt?
Well,
I mean,
well,
as a woman, they would give me something.
Yeah,
I'd
if
be like,
I-
oh my God, something happened to me. I don't have any clothes. They would definitely give me some goddamn clothes.
They
I
would.
would act stupid.
Oh, wow.
I would get some clothes, and I would get the fuck far away from that jail as possible.
But if I walk into Walmart naked as a man, they definitely give me something.
Oh, you're going back to jail. You're
Ass
going
whooping.
back to jail.
He's out here with his penis out.
Ass whooping.
You can't walk in there like some lady just tried to rape me. Nah, fam.
It's an ass
I would
whooping.
show a titty for the clothes
like
that I know
that.
that I can get when I
T-shirt
escape.
right there. Titty for the clothes. I like
I
it.
would show a titty for the clothes just because
I
I
don't
know
know.
that I
I
can
feel
do
like
that.
if you don't have nice titties, I'm not giving you anything.
I have amazing titties, so I know I would get a full set.
As opposed to a half
Wait.
set.
About to say,
as opposed to
you
a half set. I
You
get
gotta have at
full
least a
set.
C cup to get a hoodie out of me, Joe.
Maybe 34 double D over here. Just saying.
Okay, you get a hoodie and some
see that,
sweatpants.
okay.
Exactly what the fuck I'm saying.
You're going to get toothbrush and toothpaste.
What's that?
A whole outfit.
We
would
are
be
getting way
34
off track
double D.
All right. We
What's
talking
that shoe you wear?
Titties, all kind of things.
What did
Anyway.
they do? What did they do?
These niggas did none of that.
What they do?
They decided to go to IHOP.
They was hungry.
So they were arrested hours later. They didn't even make it a day, nigga. They
went
were
to
arrested
IHOP.
hours later at IHOP, where people there, like multiple people called the police, as these niggas obviously had just broken out of jail.
How could they tell?
I'm guessing they still had their shit on.
That's why I
I
said
didn't know
the
what
first
they
thing
had
you gotta
on.
do is change out of
They
that clothing.
didn't say that, but the fact that the patrons called the police, something had to give them away, which was probably their fucking outfits, or they might have had chains on something.
They should have broke
They
out
got a
on
chain
Halloween
on.
or something.
I mean,
Halloween.
If they had broke out on Halloween, they'd have been, this is my costume.
You smart.
Say, I'm all in. I got the prisoner number in there.
well, yeah. So needless to say, they went back to jail.
God damn,
Did they at
man.
least get their pancakes, bro?
I don't know if they got their pancakes or not.
I'm saying, at least
You know
give me
what
some
I'm saying?
pancakes. While I go
But my
back to
thing
the
is,
joint
bro,
thing.
like, I mean, of all the places, IHOP, nigga.
But they might have, you know what? The food might be so terrible in jail, they just wanted to taste some good food. I mean, that could be a thing.
I can't imagine the IHOP being much better than jail food. When was the last time you had some IHOP?
It's been a while, but you know, they put the
Yeah.
syrup on there, you know?
Nah, fam.
No, it's bad.
Nah.
Okay.
Shit is trash.
I ain't been to IHOP, Denny's, none of that.
What?
None of that. I'm gonna go to the mom and pop. You feel me?
Okay, Aunt Shirley's.
I want the side of my pancakes burnt. I want
Ooh.
the edges. You feel me?
And they slapped a piece of cheese on your pancakes.
I don't like that. Velours do that shit, and I
love
hate that shit.
Cheese on the pancake, put the big piece
They
of
just
cheese.
put the
pancakes?
slice. No, on the eggs. When you tell them you
Yeah.
want cheese,
They
eggs,
do that
They just put the
shit.
slice and just eat that shit up. I hate
stir that
that.
shit up yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
don't-
slice of cheese on top of
Like,
your
y'all ain't got no
fucking
shredded
egg.
cheese by now. Y'all been in business
No,
for 50 years.
They don't give a fuck about us.
We like
Yeah,
the
they
we
really
like the
don't-
squirrel. We like the
They
squirrel.
got the Obama special. They said fuck us.
Right.
the Obama special.
And you want shredded cheese, you better bring that shit yourself. We don't do that here.
Yeah,
Man.
that's gonna be like,
Also,
Wait, before we get off of that though,
uh-oh.
the conversation.
Yes.
You break out of jail. You
Alright.
running. You go
Alright.
through the woods. My nigga, I'm hungry as hell.
To go.
What was you thinking about? Man, you know, I've been
I'm
dreaming
thinking about to
fuck-
go.
IHOP, Popeyes. No, you know that shit close. They don't serve breakfast, nigga.
I've been thinking about IHOP. For real? Yeah, let's go to IHOP.
That's a great
What
commercial.
That's a good
money
idea.
is the question.
That's
I
what I'm
have.
saying. How was the waitress? She know they from jail. She taking their order. So you.
How the
oh,
fuck
you
are you
think-
paying for this?
they was gonna run. They wasn't for the chain. They wasn't thinking about paying
Oh, yeah,
for
that
that,
was-
shit.
that
They
was-
was gonna dine and dash.
Dine and dash.
I mean, you
But
already
while
got
they was waiting
charges.
to dine and dash, the police found them.
They
Yeah,
got
yeah,
orange
basically.
jumpsuits.
Wow.
They should have
That's
took it to
crazy.
go.
Baby, they didn't want freedom.
Right,
really
they
didn't
just want
it.
pancakes.
They didn't really want it because if you really wanted it,
You would've
your
jetted.
ass wouldn't have never stopped.
Right.
You would have not stopped to get food. You would have kept going until you were state over.
Indeed, you would.
Until you was able to find
You
a
been
way
running.
to make some money, and then you would have paid for your IHOP in cash, for your
Indeed.
Denny's in cash. Nobody could fucking find you. They didn't really want it. They wanted to go back to jail.
We wanted some pancakes, bro. That's
They
what
wanted pancakes, and your pancakes is the reason why your ass is back in jail.
So-
If you was able to break out, baby, before I stopped, I would be 2 states over.
Imagine them stories they telling their boys, man. I had the pancake, nigga. I had the syrup on there and shit. They had
Yeah,
the
they had
little
strawberry
square cheese.
pecan
I'm not gonna lie.
syrup.
The amount of TikTok videos I've seen, these niggas are making full course meals in jail already.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've
like-
seen these
the
niggas
spread.
make steak and eggs
Yeah.
in jail.
Yeah,
so
they
the
are.
fact
They
that
get
your
creative.
ass can't give up a little bit of IHOP to make sure you're free, that's on you.
They probably added 10
That's
years
on
to
you.
their sentence for that.
Because I
bullshit.
know you had IHOP inside the pen. I've seen the way these niggas
JoJo make them
cook.
pancakes fire.
Right, I've seen the way they make these fucking steak and eggs and these goddamn pancakes
with an
inside the
iron,
pen.
with an iron, nigga.
With a
an iron,
fucking
damn.
iron on
Damn.
the stairs.
On the
Are you?
stairs.
Are you ain't?
On the stairs. They make a grill on the stairs
Hey.
with a fucking iron and a little bit of wire tweaking.
Hey, cuz
Well,
I
yeah.
ain't gonna
Creative.
say no names, but I didn't see a
creative.
nigga come home still making grilled cheese sandwiches with an iron. You say it don't taste right if you don't make it that way.
Exactly.
When my mans came home, G, that nigga said, y'all ever had a Dorito casserole? I was like, no. That man took ramen noodles, put them in 2 Jules bags with hot water, and threw some Doritos nacho cheese in there and let that shit sit. That shit formed like a fucking meatloaf loaf, and that shit was fire.
Well, goddamn. We need a cookbook.
I was like,
We
nigga.
need an incarcerated cookbook.
But I'm also thinking about like what that would do to your digestive system.
Horrible.
You know what I'm saying? And
I
then,
looked that up lately. The ramen noodles going through your system,
Oh, for real?
never again.
Oh, damn.
No, sir.
Well, on that note, just one last thing. Anybody y'all in audiobooks at all?
No.
Really.
No.
Yeah.
I need to.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
need
me
to.
too. Me
Well, if you're looking for an audiobook, there's a book that I came across called The Slave Pimp.
too. The slave pimp.
Okay.
The Slave Pimp. The Legend of Billy Mack.
The legend.
The Legend of Billy Mack.
Would you like me to read you the description?
Yes, please read the
Please,
description.
why not?
Please do.
Through the centuries, there have been many perilous tales of courage and bravery displayed by slaves.
Oh, really?
The slaves who were taken from their homes and lives in Africa are and forced to work against their will in the Americas. From Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman to Toussaint's Overture, where brave souls sacrificed their lives and freedom for the greater good. The salvation of their people. That was a weird sentence. But this story, however, is slightly different. It's a tale of an unlikely hero, a man with a powerful backhand and a silver tongue.
Whoa.
Whoa.
He has the influence over all women in a 500-mile radius.
Ooh.
A slave that knew how to walk the line between slave and man. He set out to gain freedom for himself, but ended up becoming one of the most prolific revolutionaries of the mid-1800s. Was he an abolitionist who set out to change the world? That's a tricky question that one could argue. But the fact remains that he freed tens of thousands of slaves and did so using only his natural gift of gab and his tremendously strong backhand.
What the?
The most profound story of unexpected heroism lies within the pages of this book.
So we smacking him into freedom?
The Slave Pimp.
Okay.
Hey, you gonna let my people go? No. Off to yonder.
And that's not a joke, B. That's a real fucking book.
That's a real book.
It's a real
with
book.
his backhand.
Somebody took the time to write that shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh.
It's available on Audible.
And the next Tyler Perry film, come to BET. Comes.
Oh, shit.
Smacky Chan.
It was written by a man named Edward Thornton. It's 42 pages long. So,
I'll be sure to get that.
in case you're looking for something, some new materials is available in paperback or by audio.
I would like to. I'm gonna listen to it while I'm on the Greenline when the dude's trying to sell me new
I
cigarettes and shit.
feel like I have to.
Yeah,
I feel like I got to do it.
I got to.
Yeah,
like
I got to figure out what. Yeah,
Is the paperback fit right in my hand so I can whoosh with it? You know what I'm saying?
and if it's hilarious, I'm just gonna
I'm just saying.
wait.
Does the paperback just fit in my hand so I can back up?
roll that shit up and slap
Not
my
you
hoes
using
with
the
it.
paperback to slap bitches.
Hey, look.
Into submission.
I
Real
didn't even
quick.
mention bitches, but hey,
real quick. Let me just. Do any of you guys ride the red, green line, blue line? Any
the
of these
Ghetto
lines?
Express, Red
I
Line,
stopped.
yes.
I pay.
Ghetto
The Ghetto Express.
I pay the park, G. I don't take
Yeah.
the train no more. I had enough.
I'm so sick and
Ever so
tired.
often, the red and the green, I do. I jump on it from time to time.
Yeah, the Red Line is
I just
Ghetto
gotta say, like, for the green line, for y'all motherfuckers on the green line that just feel that it is only that is right for you to blaze up your weed.
Oh.
It's embarrassing to
and
me
not
because
offer. Goddamn, no.
no, not even that, because I'm sitting there and then like when you get past 35th, then you get the white people, the Asian people on the train, and then this dude just sitting there standing up, just smoking a whole blunt. I'm sitting there like, nigga,
Man.
you are the reason why they look at it so crazy. And then he be looking at people like you got a problem? Like it just says
He was
no
on his way to IHOP.
smoking
And see,
right next to you.
See, that's one of the reasons why I stopped taking the train, because I got into it with a nigga on the train one day over that very same reason, bro. Because ain't no circulation in here.
Right.
No, you're not finna be smoking that in front of me. You gonna have to put that out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's I'm not on that. You know what I mean? Like I'm just and that so here's me, college educated man on my way to work, trying to fight some nigga on the train because he's smoking. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna remove myself from these type of situations because this happened multiple times, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that was around 2016, 2017. I've been driving. I mean, every time I had to go in the office, I drive.
Yeah, man. I just looked at dude like, why? I just moved to the next train. I was like, next stop moving to another train.
I'm not moving. Fuck that. You gonna
Look
sit
at
down
you.
in front of me and flame up?
Nah, he wasn't in front of me. He was just
You
like
on Rosa Parks?
I was just sitting there like, and it was some loud though. It was
you.
some shit.
You're like, damn, dog, can I get a toke? Something?
Man,
Damn.
Yeah,
That is true. If I get a little puff pass,
Right, you're like, we all.
I might let that
I
slap.
might act like
Right, see?
you're not smoking on a fucking public transportation.
Right.
I'm gonna take a hit and be like, hey, this is fucked up, right?
Right. Yo, that's some bull,
I'm gonna take a hit and pass it back to you and be like, you fucked
I mean,
up.
these white people look at us like crazy and shit, right?
So
Pissing everybody
in my
off.
defense, he was actually smoking a cigarette. It wasn't.
That's
Disgusting.
worse.
Yeah,
That's
it
worse.
That's even worse.
Okay,
And I
that's
smoke
worse.
cigarettes, so it's like,
Completely different situation.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, man. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's all I got for today.
So we're going into springtime.
Oh damn!
You know
Spring
what
got
I'm saying?
sprung.
Hold on, wait. We have not even asked our guest
Oh,
damn.
about
yeah.
her shit.
Yes.
All right, we have.
Our
sorry.
guest has shit to talk about. She
Goes
shit.
viral.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Over 5,000 TikTok followers.
Oh damn!
You know, she recently
32,000.
said she. How many?
I have 32,000 followers. On
Oh.
TikTok.
Whoa! Shit! God damn it!
32,000.
God damn
God
it.
damn!
32,000 followers on TikTok.
That is amazing.
Oh, that's pretty fast. I don't know.
Thank you.
That's why you go viral and you begin. You say you begin like death threats, like for real. Like
I
people
do.
be.
I do.
Yeah,
I
people
go
on the internet are
viral
crazy.
and then I turn around and get death threats.
People on the internet are nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah.
They're absolutely fucking nuts.
That's why I stay out of the comment section, bro. Like I don't even, because it's just like the shit that people say, and they will take like, it's just like, because like sometimes, you know, you'll scroll through Instagram and they'll have like you'll see like 1 or 2 comments, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, just by scrolling. And like I'll sit there and look like, bro, like how did you get there? Like how did you arrive at this point?
At this fucking point.
From
out
this
of all
post.
points.
Because I'm sitting there, I gotta sit there and look at this shit like, what did what? No,
Dang.
nah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, people are fucking nuts. And it's like, I don't know, it's like that conversation, the chicken or the egg, like which one came first? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, were people always just crazy and the internet just exposed it? Or the internet making the people crazy? I think it's a
Right.
combination of both.
And
But
then
yeah.
Agreed.
Twitter
But yeah,
fingers.
but that's neither here nor there. But you have a podcast
I do.
called Tactless Radio.
I
Oh,
do.
damn.
When did you start?
So I started my podcast at the top of 2021.
Okay.
So my podcast is called Tactless Radio. My podcast is focused on Black experiences for the individuals who are tired of code switching
That's the
for the
code switching.
masses. So it is focused on Black women, Black people, Black queerness, where we do not necessarily need to change our language, change our vocabulary to make sure that we are relating to everybody else. It is a podcast that is specifically for Black people in Black people language, AAVE, where they can understand it.
Okay.
And the reason why it's called Tactless Radio is because from my experience being in a lot of professional spaces, I've had a lot of Black coworkers. Not Black coworkers. I've had a lot of white coworkers. I've had a lot of white managers tell me that the way that I am speaking to other individuals is great, but I need to find tact. I need to find tact in the way that I am able to relate to everybody else. I need to find tact in the way that I am able to speak my issues and my grievances. And I said, fuck that.
Oh shit.
You're going to take it the way that I give it to you
Okay,
because it's
then.
exactly how the fuck I feel.
Now watch out.
And that's where we got Tactless Radio.
Man. Okay. Man.
Okay.
I like
That was
it.
going
I
to be
like
one
it.
of my questions, but thank you for going ahead.
All
and
right.
answering.
Oh, no, I
The
like to
origin
make
story,
sure that I
goddammit.
am delivering above
Okay.
standards. So I want to make sure I answer all of you all's
Well,
questions.
do the damn
appreciate
thing.
that.
Hello, boo.
All right then.
Hi,
Hey,
sexy Black man over there.
well, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, you better watch on out, Jay.
And this is how he probably talks behind the camera for real, like when he be
For
taking,
real.
because he's a photographer too. so
Giving
he
me
like-
porno vibes over there. Like, yeah, girl, spread them cheeks.
Hey.
Like, that's kind of what you're giving me right now.
Hey man. Hey man.
Oh man,
So it's funny that you say that. I was interested in what was the reasoning, like how you arrived at the name Tactless Radio. I do find that it's something, especially with Black women in the corporate settings, that if Black women are direct, then they're somehow seen as being aggressive.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like overly aggressive. Like you can't
Correct.
just like be like, you gotta have somehow sweeten it up a little bit.
right?
Correct.
Like they want a little bit of mammy to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mammy.
They
That's
always want a
funny,
little bit of
but
mammy.
Yeah.
I feel it though.
I have been disrespected. My hair has been touched.
What?
My
No, that's
bodily
not cool.
autonomy has been disrespected.
cool. It's not
My ideas have been stolen.
Whoa.
And they still want me to operate in a space of collaboration and being able to be a team player, even after I've been disrespected, even after I've been reduced to nothing more than outside of a human. And that's where I decided that I was going to start a podcast where I can talk about what the fuck I'm going through, that I can talk about everything that these white women and these white men and this corporation and this corporate space of America and then the political space of America puts black women, black people, black men, and black queerness through from a tactless perspective. I wanted a space where we can talk about what the fuck we're actually going through without having to think about, am I making white people comfortable when I say this?
Ooh, deep.
Goddamn.
So I definitely,
I feel that though.
I definitely say death to code switching.
I agree.
Yeah,
death to code switching. And I understand that so many black individuals have to code switch for our money.
Right.
We got to code switch just to get further in our career. And it's fucked up because we do have to appeal to white people and their comfortability. And it got to a point, because I've been in the corporate space over 10 years, that I was just exhausted from giving a fuck about what white women think about, despite the fact that they were disrespecting me and my bodily autonomy day in and day out.
Yeah, they'll definitely touch your hair without giving a second thought.
I actually had the director of revenue at my non-for-profit. I'm sorry, it wasn't my non-for-profit. I had the director of revenue at a startup that I worked at. She was toppity top. And she was the one that grabbed her fucking gnarled hands in my hair and was like, oh my God, it's so curly. How do you get it to be like that?
It's not cool at all.
And when I confronted her, of course, she had her white tears and her white, I didn't mean to, and all of that, and blase. And I realized that I'm not the only one unique to this experience. So many black men. So many black women, from the Crown Act all the way down, when it comes to our hair, the way that we present, the way that we are supposed to show up in these spaces. We are supposed to show up in a certain type of way where it's not our authentic self. Yeah. So I wanted to design a space where those individuals can show up authentically and we can say what the fuck we want to say. And Tactless came because so many of my mentors, so many of the people who wanted to guide me said that I need to find tact. I need to find a way to present what I want to present in a way that people could accept it. So a lot of spaces, even the space where I was disrespected at the at the startup with all these white women who were touching my hair, they were like, I'm sorry, you said you were tactless. Don't you mean you were tactful? No, bitch, I meant I was tactless. I don't give a fuck anymore about how you feel about what I say. Yeah. So that's where tactless comes from.
You can't touch my hair.
No, you can't touch my hair. You can't take my style. You can't take my swag. You can't take what the fuck I built.
Watch out now.
Tactlessly, I'm going to tell you about yourself. And that's what it is.
God damn it.
Okay.
God damn it.
Oh,
shit, I'm scared.
Bulletproof
vest out for everybody.
We love it. We love it.
A lot of times, man, especially it's something. It is something that I've noticed, especially a lot with the white women. In certain circumstances, is that they don't necessarily honor boundaries in personal space. They don't view it the same way that we do.
At least not with us, they don't.
Yeah. Well, with each other, but like the way just at least based on my observations, it's just like culturally, there's just a different thing. But the thing is, like you said, when they're confronted with it, they never want to acknowledge that. Okay, maybe they were wrong, and they need to respect how you do things. In terms of just like, well, what's the big deal? Why are you making such a big deal about it? You know what I'm saying? That was my phone. Don't worry about it. Why are you making such a big deal about it? You know what I mean? And I do find that to be fucked up. But I do know because, well, I don't have hair. I ain't got to worry about nobody grabbing mine. But
sometimes they want to rub your head though.
So
this is a tall black man.
Ball, shiny,
I'm just saying
they
do.
Right.
Yeah, that's just saying.
They probably be rubbing on you like
they trying to see the future or some shit. You know, sometimes it's cool, but sometimes you're like, "What you doing?"
Disrespectful.
It really is.
A friend of mine's wife, she was teaching in Tokyo, and she said in Japan, they don't say anything. They just walk up to you and grab you. She was like, I'm literally getting coffee, and they literally walked up to her and was like, "Oh, don't."
She roundhouse them. She been wrong.
Right. She
Or like-
roundhouse they ass.
Now
Then
they-
she being wrong and she be
And with-
overly aggressive as a black woman.
Right.
Because I am asking for you to respect my boundaries of giving me 6 feet, no pressure.
Indeed.
But there's also it's something else I found that somebody explained to me. Especially we talk about people that are like in China. There are so many people that they're used to being on top of each other and being kind of like in physical contact. So they don't view that the same. And that doesn't mean that like if you're here you don't need to adjust.
That's agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But
There's a cultural difference.
That's what I'm saying. There are cultural
certain areas.
differences that people have, but the problem comes in when you are made aware of such differences, and you decide to not try to even respect that, but try to like make them seem well you should adjust to me, instead of like you adjusting to them, or even somehow finding a middle ground. You know what I'm saying? And in terms of like corporate America, because most of that is run by white people.
Yeah.
The power structure is mostly ran by white men, and white women being a part of that. There is a history of us having to just make adjustments, and in order for us to like maintain our positions and keep our jobs, code switching has become a thing, and that's just for me. Like I know, so there's a certain way. Like when we outside kicking it, there's a certain way I'm gonna relax and lay my hair down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Lay your hair down.
And like with my figurative hair, nigga.
He gonna lay his beard
That
down.
beard.
Goddamn.
You want to let that beard down.
I know I'm bald, nigga. You ain't got.
I remember you had hair. It's all good.
Yeah. At one point in time, I didn't come
Yeah,
out
like it
the
was
womb
100
bald.
years ago. Or some shit.
He said I had hair once upon a
I used to be
Once upon a time,
something.
many moons ago.
Yeah, I can relate.
But I don't. I just like when I'm at work. I'm not like. There's some people like in the old school shit where like you would like put your voice on. Like y'all ever
Hi,
seen
how's it going?
Sorry to Bother You?
Yeah.
Yes.
You used to put your
Bananas in the
white voice
tailpipe.
on.
Yes.
You got to raise your shit a couple of
Yeah.
octaves.
You do.
I don't be on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely like the Key and Peele made that skit when they did the Obama when he was like shaking hands
Yes.
and he gave the
To
universal
the black
man
people and the people of
handshake.
color, yep.
I've been doing that for years. It's just a reaction. It's just like that's what we do. This is how we greet each other. And I'm not changing that shit just because y'all may feel uncomfortable.
And you know what's so funny is you ever had like you been somewhere at like a rap show or whatever, and a white dude try to shake your hand like the black way, and he doesn't do it right because he doesn't know it to follow with this
Get the fuck
or
off
this
me.
first. So he be, it's all awkward. You be like, just give me a pound, bro.
Yeah, no,
give me a pound.
no, because I've had so I've adjusted because like there's a universal white guy handshake where they do the slap and the fist bump.
Yeah,
I didn't know
And when I
that.
was damn, I dropped my phone again. When I was around them, I would do that shit all the time. Like I had when I was in Arizona for a minute, I had
didn't know that.
bunch of good friends in Colorado. I would do the slap hand fist bump. You know what I'm saying? So
There
it's
should
what-
be a book
yeah,
on this.
Yeah, I mean, so cultural differences.
I think
Yeah.
I
You
have
know what
one.
I'm saying? And if you are in a place where there's a dominant culture, then you can't necessarily expect all of those people to adjust to you. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to make adjustments.
Unless
And-
you're invading the country.
Yeah.
right. Well, see, well, you guys both working.
Lori, unless you and your colonization
Yes.
is going hard.
Right. So this is
Fuck
going well.
everything else.
See, you guys work in corporate America, so like I don't really at the Hyatt or at AT&T, I get the people that make it their point to let me know that they voted for Obama.
Really?
Ooh, that's the
Or-
worst type of
You should
white
hit him back.
person.
I didn't.
Or at the Hyatt,
In
you know
my
what I'm saying?
opinion, that's the worst type of white person to come
Yeah,
in
and
contact
and
with.
at the Hyatt, they be like, when they come into the, is this area safe? And
Not
it
for you.
offends me because I be like, bro, I've been living in Hyde Park for almost 12 years. Like, nigga, you calling my neighborhood dangerous?
The ones coming, I really love collard greens.
But I literally tell them straight off the top, like, I'm like, because they come in, they bringing their kids there, they come from these super rich areas where they don't have to worry about or have any type of street smart. So when they come to us, Hyde Park, South Side, they look it up, they see the crime, they see the shootings, they see this. So I get it. As a parent,
But they still
you want to
come.
know, but it's a way you ask. And just because I'm the black guy,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like you walk past the white lady, you walk past the Mexican, and you come to me and be like, hey, so is it safe around here? And I'll be like, oh,
You know, as the
Like-
black guy, you have to be the ambassador of blackness.
I
Usually.
guess so.
Which is fucked up.
It is.
Because we have different experiences, nuance to our community. Yep. So your answer is gonna be different from his answer, which is gonna be different from his answer, which is gonna be different from mine. And that's what's crazy about about white people that generalize black people, is that they think we all have the same experience when we fucking don't.
We're not monolithic whatsoever.
We are not monolithic at all.
Indeed.
At all.
Indeed.
In this goddamn country.
Well, damn.
I know black people who make goo gobs more money than I could ever see in my life.
I love that word.
And I be wondering to myself, like, goddamn, how the fuck do they have the mindset? How do they have the movement, the particularness that they have? And that's because classism is why we say all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Ooh,
so to a certain extent, you have different types of black people where your experience is going to be different from somebody else. So a white person coming up to you asking, hey, is it okay? Is it safe? Motherfucker, I wouldn't know.
Right.
Yeah. They don't fuck with me.
I'm like, for who?
That's all I know. They don't fuck with me.
Well, I tell like, just be street smart.
Right.
Well, no,
they actually might be dangerous as fuck, but because I went to King and I'm cool with the Latin Kings and the BDs here, they don't fuck with me. I can't say the same about you.
You should say, are you speaking of the Negroes or the cops?
Right.
Exactly.
Because the cops, end all be all, I don't know, bitch.
I mean,
but the Latin Kings, they don't fuck with me.
Indeed.
And they might fuck with you, and they ain't got nothing to do with me.
I wouldn't wear those shoes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wear them colors if I
Yeah.
was you.
Trevor.
That's all I'm going to say.
Class trumps race.
Class
It does.
race.
Every time. I went to
There's
a
a
white ass
t-shirt. I love
college
it.
and learned that the hard way. I went to DePaul, which is a PWI, and my black ass went to DePaul thinking that I was gonna make other black ass friends. I joined BSU. I joined gospel choir.
What's BSU? Hold on. What's BSU?
BSU stands for Black Student Union.
Okay. Threw me off.
I also joined gospel choir. I don't even sing like that. I'm not even Christian like that. I don't even sing like that. But I joined BSU, and I wanted to be Greek. I tried every avenue to join myself with all the other black students on that campus. And what I found out quickly is that I had more connection with the first generation Latina girls who were at that school than I did with the rich ass black girls who came from Homewood Flossmoor.
Wow.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up on 107th and Cottage Grove. I'm from the south
from the
side.
Hundreds.
I'm from the Wild Hundreds.
Oh, snap.
From the streets.
Please don't
Wild
hurt
Hundreds.
me.
Like my people are still over on 106th and Cottage Grove.
Oh, wow.
Like not too far from like, the Londons.
Yeah.
Right,
I know about them, boy.
My experience was that I needed to be around under other individuals who understood what life looked like when you lived on these type of streets of Chicago. And a lot of them black girls who went to Marion and Homewood Flossmoor grew up in they had no fucking idea what the fuck I went through. Wow. And I wasn't able to have a relationship with them. Yeah, despite the fact that they were black.
And that classism is real, because you wouldn't talk about, like, especially, from the Jack and Jill era. You know what I'm saying? Like classism.
All our friends was Jack and Jill.
The cotillion type of folks.
Yeah. It was definitely. You never heard of Jack and Jill?
What's Jack? No, what is that?
So
okay.
What is all this howling over here?
Well, you know what? You grew up in Gary, though, right?
I grew up literally down the street from here.
Oh, in Woodline.
62nd and King Drive.
Okay.
So Jack and Jill is a organization. Well, you can say it's kind of like a black elitist organization, but they wouldn't characterize it that way. And I can't even really say, because obviously I wasn't a part of it.
Right.
But
our friends were.
But you definitely. All I will say is that you had to be of a certain economic standing to be a part.
Jack and Jill.
Even when they threw their parties at South Shore Cultural Center, you had to be on a list.
So you had to know somebody in Jack and Jill.
You had to know somebody in Jack and Jill, and they had a list of 10 or 15.
Hey, them parties used to go, though.
It used to go because Joey, our good friend Joey, his family was part of Jack and Jill. His sisters was, June's family was, his sister was. I think Donna was part of Jack and Jill as well.
Yeah, they was all in that.
And they was all part of that. So we used to I used to be calling Donna myself, like, can you put me on the list, please? I just want to put me on the list. That was back in the day when Timbuck was getting started.
Yeah, that was they used to have them parties at the South Shore Cultural Center.
Yeah.
A little after my time.
But so that's the thing, like, because even it's funny, we talk about this all the time. So that year, 12 Years a Slave, right?
I hated that
so
movie.
Solomon Northbrook, right? So he was living his best life in the North. He wasn't no abolitionist. You know what I'm saying? He running around playing his violin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, living this
remixes and shit.
living the highbrow life. And then all of a sudden you find out that, hey, once you get to a certain point, it don't matter. Like once you look
still
like
black at that
you know what I'm saying. But I just spoke to a certain. But he never would have been an abolitionist had he not had that experience, right? You know what I'm saying. So and it's the same way where it's like with certain people of a certain economic standing, like they don't have the same issues as we have. They don't care about the same shit. You know what I'm saying that we would care about. So even though we may share the same skin color. Like our culture is completely different.
Worlds different.
Indeed.
Completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Worlds different.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So it just says just because you're part of the group doesn't mean you share the culture, and just because you're part of the culture doesn't mean you share the skin color.
Agreed. I had more in common with my girlfriends who were first generation English speakers.
Wow.
I had more in common with my girlfriends who were first generation, had to work to help their family. I had more in common with the girlfriends who were working, who had to send their money back to their family so that they can make sure that they have food on their table. I had more in common with those girls than the black girls who had their fathers and their families, who were like executives at ComEd, who were executives of their law firm.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to realize, hard lesson to learn, but very eye-opening, that not all skin folk are kinfolk. That's how I learned it.
It's interesting.
That's how I learned it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and because they sometimes, man, like those people will have a worse view of quote unquote lower class black people than people from other races.
Baby,
Like
speak
it,
on it.
like
Speak on it.
It really like it can be pretty fucking depressing. Like sometimes, like listening to certain people talk, especially like because you know I've managed to I guess you could say somewhat work my way up a corporate ladder a little bit.
Oh,
right?
go ahead.
And but
Talk your shit,
I had this
Then.
I had this conversation all the time. Like, you know, unless you really know me, like you don't really know how much of a nigga I really am. You know,
True.
It sounds like a rap album.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what I mean. Like
That's
it's
a superpower.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying.
It is a superpower.
So-
You'll turn incredible nigga. I'm sorry, but
You know, and I don't know, and I know there's a lot of controversy or whatever people want to say about around that term, but I use that term specifically because, like, there is a certain level of blackness that comes with is directly associated with struggle, right?
Damn.
And like it or not, it's part of our story in this country, and there is a certain amount of struggle that you go through, specifically when you're black and if you're considered to be lower class, working class, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like my parents wasn't paying for fucking college. Like I was actually like probably, if not one of the first people in my family to go to college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of us from that generation were like we kind of bear the brunt of that, and a lot of us are dealing with the fact that like we were signing loan agreements that we didn't understand.
It's almost like a record contract. You know, we know what's going on. You know
A
what I'm saying?
360 deal, that's bullshit.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
But
I just thought
You
about
was
that.
signing while going to school. You
I
signed
just
a
thought about that.
360 deal
Yeah.
just to go to school.
some shit
Wow.
that you never really gonna be able to
I
pay
had
off.
no
for.
idea,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying?
For real.
And so it's
Damn,
like
you just hit me in the head with that.
I've been from the gutter. I ain't never go to college. I just been straight working all my life.
I understand,
Well,
boo. I understand.
so
good, baby.
and it really is it's kind of crazy when you think about it from a resource standpoint, because there's a lot of black people with a lot of fucking money. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, even when you look at certain power structures that exist and that we still kind of like fight for access to, you know what I'm saying? Even though like take for instance like in Hollywood, like after all these years and you have your Oscar so white hashtags and all that other stuff, and it was just like why is there only why Tyler Perry had to be the first nigga to own the studio? And y'all let Tyler Perry do it?
Hey, man.
No shade to Tyler Perry.
Hey, man.
And he did it.
Hello.
He didn't just do it. He did it.
Oh, he got
It is done.
major
It is
motion
done.
picture companies are filming in Tyler Perry studios.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Protect that man at all costs.
I mean, no, because he employs a lot of black people, right?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Now, the
That he
content
does.
that he produces
It's questionable.
Yes. But you know what I'm saying? Hey man, sometimes bro, you got to take the good with the bad.
Indeed,
you know what I'm saying?
indeed.
And just like important to the culture, like I feel
bro.
like but that shit just happened maybe like 5-6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like all these years, man, but like all these people, I mean, at one point, what fucking Will Smith was getting, what, 50 million, 100 million a movie or some shit like that?
Some crazy.
Like you had a lot of people, and that's not to place the onus on one person because maybe that wasn't Will Smith's desire. Maybe he didn't
He gave
want
it to Jada.
You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Funded her red table talk.
Right? You
I
know,
knew we was going
her
there
in
sooner or
fucking
later.
August and shit. The food.
Hey. But you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely it kind of it can be discouraging,
Indeed.
right? When you have that like all skinfolk ain't kinfolk conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We definitely have those conversations. I mean, us growing up, we all went to different high schools. You know what I'm saying? Rell went to Morgan Park. I went to CVS. Aaron went to Simeon. Javen went to Morgan Park. Bakari went to Lincoln Park. Scott Belton went to Bogan. You know what I'm saying? We all live different walks of life in a certain sense. You feel what I'm saying? Like Bakari's out living his best life in Australia with no kids, just doing wild shit off yachts and stuff. And Scott is traveling the world doing what he do. But we still, it's a kind of a different thing like when you grow up with each other. You know, so we've known each other since we was like preteens. So it's a different bond that we have. And a lot of people are not fortunate enough to have that bond. So when you go out and you don't have that bond with the core people you around, you have to find people to relate to. And sometimes coming from a Southside environment or the Wild Hunter environment, you really can't find somebody to relate to you. You feel what I'm saying? You be like, damn, like I remember going to some places even now, and I'd be like, just for instance, like, right, my homeboy didn't know what a gyro cheeseburger was.
What?
Vice Lord Burgers.
I didn't
Wait,
know it
you
was a
call
Vice
them a
Lord
Vice
burger.
Lord burger?
That's what they call it.
Gyro
Gyro
Vice Lord
cheeseburger is
burger.
a Vice Lord burger?
Gyro
Get the
cheeseburgers,
hell outta
Vice
here.
Lord
I
burgers.
didn't know that, bro.
Yeah.
And
Because
They have a whole menu.
it's
and
a whole
shit.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. But
Damn.
they
I
from
learn
out
something
west.
new every day.
You know?
As an educator, I want it to be.
And he
that
was
way.
like gyro cheese, bro. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like,
is,
you never
yeah.
had a Philly cheese crisp? He like, what's a Philly cheese
Oh,
crisp? I'm
crisp.
like,
Damn.
it's a Philly cheesesteak that's deep fried, bro.
What?
It's in
I
a wrap.
I never had that.
See, one.
Right?
See,
We talked about that in the previous episode.
yeah, we talked about that. Like, it was just
We did.
crazy. Like, I mean, you know,
Blood pressure going up.
I
Just
just
hearing that.
I
yeah,
feel,
blood, it was a heart attack. It took me 2 days to eat that shit, man.
I just feel like, man, I'm fortunate for my upbringing
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
because I came from.
Chatham.
I mean, I came from Chatham. And like, so my parents, we didn't have everything growing up. I watched my father work hard. Sometimes I was working hard with him, and you know they did the best that they could, and they provided a good life for me and my brother.
Shout out to parents.
But and that's like, you know, living on a quiet block for most of our lives. But we didn't
Yeah.
have to travel far to find trouble.
No, we didn't.
And we found
79th Street was right there.
yeah.
The 9.
The 9, 8, you know what I'm saying,
Oh.
87.
83rd and the 79th Street was
Cole
not
Park.
far.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You
All
don't
that
gotta
shit.
go far.
You know what I mean?
Find some trouble on that.
So, you know, so I had my Southside Chicago baptism.
Yeah.
Baptism by
But
fire.
then I went away to school and I was in Iowa.
Yeah.
And then I ended up meeting people and seeing things
Differently.
there that I never would have seen.
Indeed.
Then I ended up like meeting people who live in Colorado and then being able to visit them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like seeing different parts of the world that can kind of like change my perspective a little bit. And I feel like a lot of people suffer from not being exposed to certain things.
Yeah.
True.
So your worldview is a little bit narrow. So like for me, I don't necessarily, when you talk about code switching, I don't ever feel like it's necessary because I feel like I can pretty much talk to a lot of different people about a lot of different things and it still be natural. Like this is based off my lived experience. I'm not fronting. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel very fortunate to have that upbringing, to even have like what you talked about, like just our friend group. We talk about people like Bakari, like
Yeah.
grew up one block over from me, but then went to a different high school on the north side where he ended up having a different fucking experience.
And
so we learned this shit from each other. You know what I'm saying?
He went to college. I didn't go to college. So I was in the city all day. I had to experience life through Bakari's eyes because I would go up north and hang with him and his white friends or his Latino or Peruvians or whatever the case may be and learn shit from them just off like because I didn't go away to school. Like I was just here hustling. Like I was just like, all right, well, we finna go over here and just hang out. And then I just got a whole different perspective of life. And then me being in retail for so long, just different walks of life and being a visual merchandiser for J. Crew, that kind of opened up my eyes to a whole different demographic. Then I started seeing like people with.
You talking about J. Crew? That's definitely a different demographic.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying
versus the lark.
I learned
J. Crew versus the lark, nigga. You can't get much different than that.
Different.
I was total different. Like I'm saying what rich and wealth is. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like it was a dude. Hold up before we go.
No.
It was a dude that came in the store just yesterday, right? The girl, a white couple, they come in. And she's like, I need cell phone service. I need a hotspot, whatever. I'm like, why do you need a hotspot? She's like, so we rented like a 55-foot yacht, and we're going to be spending like 7 days on the water.
It's going to be on the water. It's not going to work.
Damn.
And we need some type of Wi-Fi connection because he has work to do.
It's not going to work on the water.
And I was just like, yeah. I'm like, if you got a 55-foot yacht, I'm pretty much sure they have some type of satellite for Wi-Fi. That's definitely going to connect you to Wi-Fi. You don't need to get the $10 a day passport pass or whatever the case be. You better log into Wi-Fi.
You want the Titanic passage.
But I was just sitting there like, and then we looked it up, right? To rent a yacht of that stature is $129,000 a week. I must have looked at dude, and then the other guy.
The fuel alone is like $30,000.
This shows the differences, right? Because the other guy that works there, he's Hispanic, and he's like, man, he ain't had no Jordans on or Rolex. He had like a iPhone 10. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro. Wealthy people don't give a fuck about none of the materialistic bullshit. Like the materialistic stuff that they care about is their house and their bank account. That is it, and a watch.
That's not completely true because they be in the Louis Vuitton store and the Gucci store and they be on all that shit too.
Yeah, but
there's a difference between rich and wealth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
watch out now.
That is where you find the difference between the rich and the wealth.
Yeah,
but we got to get on to the next topic because we almost an hour and some minutes in.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so I guess we're supposed to talk about modern dating.
Modern dating.
I guess we're supposed to talk about that.
We're supposed to talk about it.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm the only one that's not single in here. You know what I'm saying? You three are single, so this is really.
We about to go have a party.
You know what I'm saying?
You understand me? Okay. Ooh.
This is y'all.
Yeah, we leaving you at home, nigga. Leave the room. Get the fuck out.
But like,
you want to come join? You single, nigga? You want to
Single, stand up. Single, stand up.
Right.
But like, we talked about this. You know, with our podcast, we don't really too much talk about relationship stuff a
Shit's
lot.
Trash.
You know what I'm saying?
Now.
But we're going through like spring, we're going to summer, we're coming up with all the festivals. You know what I'm saying? We're coming up on breakup season.
Breakup season?
You know what I'm saying? Because breakup season is among us. You know what I'm saying? At the end of April and May, when you get that first 70, maybe 80-degree day, that one day, because the next day is going to be 50. But that one day, when the ladies bust out the sundresses,
with no drawers on.
You hear arguments.
I appreciate sundress season.
You hear arguments going.
It's pool
going
party
up.
season.
Well, goddamn it! I left my phone in his car. What the fuck you mean? I can't answer the phone.
If the good Lord created anything better than the sundress, I haven't seen it.
You wouldn't have known it.
You
wouldn't have seen it.
Oh my God!
It's a G string.
It's the G string in the sundress because nobody wants panty lines. So that's the two-fold.
And that's the beauty of
or just
sundress.
no underwear at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the free flowing.
Yeah, I like that little flap.
But
you know
with the free
It's
flowing,
the free flowing
with still somehow
everything.
the accenting the curvature.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
It's long season when you in a
is-
sundress.
oh.
Nobody want them panty lines.
It is a monumental creation of fashion. The
My mind
ingenuity
is racing.
involved.
Ingenuity.
I wanted the
of a
person that
sundress.
created the sundress. Definitely they should have won Nobel Peace Prize if they haven't already. I'm gonna have to Google it.
It's gonna be the Nobel Crease Prize. Right there.
The Nobel Crease Prize.
You understand me?
So like going into the summer, and we lead into this, like because modern dating is different. And me and Rell, we both have friends that was recently married. You know what I'm saying? Now going through their situations with their going into the single life. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned about a while ago about a friend of mine that was married for the same time that one of our other friends was married for, and he had to go out into this world and figure out social media, all type of shit, because he was like, I didn't have none of this. Like, I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I still like to talk on the phone. Like, these women are like texting back and forth. And he was like, just the dating scene is different. So, you know, modern dating is in so many different aspects of, like, how do you meet somebody? What are your worst dating experiences? Like how do you navigate through this world? Because I mean,
I feel like you got.
I was a slower.
Many.
A who? A slower?
I was a slower.
What the hell is that?
I love
was
self-awareness.
A slut whore.
Slut whore.
I love the self-awareness.
You know what I'm saying?
Many men.
In my
Slut
20s,
whores.
in my
Slut
20s,
whores.
Wow.
I was, you know what I'm saying? I was,
the term, but all right.
I was out there. You know what I'm saying?
Slut whore.
My two boys are the
Slowers,
same age for
okay.
6 months, right? Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's all I
that's
say to that.
that's a wild story.
Yes.
For real.
I was there for all of it.
Right.
Just ooh.
Yeah, Rell spent a lot of time.
I wasn't there for conception. No, let me just say that I wasn't.
Kinda.
I wasn't there like that.
He
I'm just
got
saying
to be
we've been
through.
friends.
This has been a lot of times on the porch. Like, man, I don't even know what the hell I'm gonna do. Just,
You're like, fuck it. Nigga, I'm about to go to IHOP. Fuck it.
but you know what I'm saying? I hear the stories. Need some pancakes, my nigga.
Shit, give
That'll
me
fix
extra
everything.
circles.
Right.
French toast and some
But
pancakes.
I hear the stories. You know what I'm saying? And tune into your podcast, Tactless Radio, and your rants, period. You've talked about the safety of black women going out after a certain time at night.
That's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the
Going
thing.
jogging. You know what I'm saying? Just little stuff and just actually meeting people in public places rather than, you know what I'm saying, like you picking me up or I'm picking you up. It's like, hey, I'll meet you there because it's the first date.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I remember before I got into a relationship, I remember a young lady asked me out for a date and she paid for the date and I was pulling my wallet. She was like, no, I asked you.
We like
And I
that
was just
type
like,
of woman.
I was like, wait, but okay, well, I'll lead it. Wait, no, I don't know how
know
I
what
feel
to
about
do.
this.
You don't even know what to do.
But
I'd be like, all right.
She was trying to get them draws, by the way.
I was like, you know
she was
what?
trying to get them draws.
Yeah,
Let me get-
yeah.
You was
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
supposed to put out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
put out.
Yeah,
You know.
I did.
Good man.
You got to do
Good
that,
man.
man. Yeah, for real. I feel
You
that.
gonna do what? Okay, I guess.
Because sometimes you don't even want to, but you know, she drove a long way, you know.
Right. She put a little
no,
money
you got
into
it.
it.
She had to find a
No,
parking
but
spot at
pay-
Hyde
Pull out
Park.
a little dick. You
Pay-
gotta pull out
paying
a little dick.
Paying for dinner is definitely an automatic dick coupon. I feel like it definitely is. It definitely.
Yeah. So my thing, what are your guys' take on modern dating now in this world?
If I can, I would love to ask you all as we get this conversation started.
Ask away.
I would love to know you all's perspective around what the problems are with modern dating currently.
Too many opinions.
Okay.
I feel like we social media, internet is it's a great thing, but there's too many people out here with microphones and internet connections that like to give opinions that are baseless in most part, and that's not. I'm not going to blame everything on that, but I just feel like
It's a part of it.
I base just from what I see, and I kind of because I don't like to talk about. This one of the main reasons why, like you know, on my platform and on here, like I don't want to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
There's so much of
There's
it,
a lot to it.
and like for one, so I'm like I don't want to add to it for real, and for two, like shit, I ain't got this shit figured out. What the fuck I'm gonna tell you?
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
All I can talk about is my experience. If you want to ask me what happened with me, I can tell you what happened with me. I ain't gonna tell you what the fuck you should do
Well, then.
because what may work for you, what may work for me, may not work for you, and vice versa. And I feel like what ends up happening is like people end up wanting to follow or like they want to listen to certain people and feel like they should be doing or following what these people are saying, and that may not necessarily be your life, right? Like I mean, you know, everybody wants to jump on the Kevin Samuels bandwagon, right? A lot of people like they will talk about what Kevin Samuels used to say about women, but they don't very rarely mention how Kevin Samuels always used to say about how men are supposed to pay for everything. too, right? That's a part of it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a certain way. And I don't necessarily even agree with that. I don't agree that there's a one-size-fits-all solution. Okay. I feel like every situation is different. Every person is different. Like if you're in a situation where you, as a man and you're in a relationship and the woman is a breadwinner, if that dynamic works for y'all, then I don't think you should let the internet tell you that
you're less of a man.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be secure within yourself, and if you are happy, then exist within that. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow the internet to change that about you, right? And like every dynamic is different. And even like as approaches to dating, man, there ain't no one size fits all solution. Everybody you meet is gonna be different. Yeah. Everybody you come across, everybody has a different personality. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just feel like people be listening to the wrong shit.
Okay. Yeah. I think the problem. To piggyback off you said, I think the internet and social media has definitely hindered dating. But I think unfortunately, as time goes on, we're going to have literally young people who have never seen a functional relationship in real life ever in their life. They've never seen like a mom and dad situation. They've never seen it, so they have nothing to model it off. So it's like when you start to speak of traditional relationships, it's almost talking like Santa Claus or something, because they never seen it. They don't have it. Their friends don't have it. So it's like I think it's going to be real hard just with the influence of social media and just never having anything to model it after.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Kafuma?
I agree. And you make a very good point that there's not a lot of examples of what healthy relationships look like in the Black community. If we want the longevity of a marriage, if we want the longevity of a relationship, there's not a lot of examples of what something like that looks like healthy for people to kind of go off of. And I appreciate both of you all's answers. And I want to ask you another answer. I want to ask you another question to answer, which is where, if at all, do you think Black men and Black women play a part in the issues that is modern dating currently?
Not self-accountability. I feel like it's probably what I see mainly. Everybody wants to blame. Everybody wants to kind of like point the finger. And I feel like, and I know we've talked about this before, in certain ways, but I think we talked about this recently. Like there has been intentional dysfunction placed in the Black community.
Oh yes, yes.
You know what I'm saying? The strategic breakup of the Black family, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there have been things done to, to precipitate, or I'm kind of the word I'm using, but you know what the fuck I'm trying to say.
I got you, boo. I got you.
You damn thing. All right, you know what I'm talking about.
And like, I feel like a lot of times, okay, right. So times have changed.
Yes.
Of course.
Times have changed, right?
Yeah.
So, and even when the term, like, when you talk about like relationships and dating, when people like put the word modern in front of it, I tend to tune out pretty much exactly after it, because like I did 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
You're not wrong. Typically some bullshit follows after.
But times have changed, right? For one, economically, one income household, unless you're making a lot of fucking money or unless you're living very meagerly, like one income household, that shit's dead, right? For one. I feel like a lot of we were raised like kind of like the baby boomer Gen X, and like a lot of that traditionalism still finds its way into our conversations, coming from an age where like the man went to work, paid the bills, and the woman stayed at home, right? But that's not to take into account mass incarceration and globalization that, for one, either handicapped or took men out of the household, right? Or they like took the jobs away that they had. In a lot of cases, this isn't across the board, but this is in a lot of cases, right?
Okay.
Right.
Where things like this happened, right? Which forced Black women into roles that they weren't necessarily accustomed to, because somebody got to raise these fucking kids,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying? So now we've gotten to the point where like And then not only that, you have like a lot of legislation, a lot of things that happen. Like women are going to college, and they're not going to college to sit at home and cook, make you a fucking sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
I like sandwiches.
They going out there to get that bag.
Yeah, they going to college and they go.
Absolutely hate you.
Well, thank you. Give me a sandwich.
Oh shit! Now you gonna have her followers fucking with see. No, fair.
No, but
Yes,
you know what I'm
love.
saying? Yeah, but it's basically we don't really necessarily take into account things that happen that create. It's not all our fault.
Of course not.
There are things that happen that have created this dynamic that exists between us, but we never want to bring those things into the conversation. We really just want to point fingers, like so. It's just like, and I see a lot of weird ass dudes out here that like almost want to bash women for making money, which is just like that's the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Ever.
You know what I'm saying? Like shit, cause you make more money than me. Shit, well, hey, you know what I'm saying? How you doing? You know what I'm
This
saying?
guy.
Yeah, we can. You get this trip, I get the next
Yeah,
trip.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But and the thing,
Right to
so,
Little Village.
So it's
With these tacos.
I got a super transfer and everything. What you want to go?
I got the right.
transfer.
I got the Hebrew tacos.
Oh,
this time.
man.
I got the steak tacos.
You can get everything on it too.
But instead of like trying to pool resources, like you want to kind of but I feel a lot of that comes from a place of insecurity. You know what I'm saying? With people, because like they may not be where they want to be in life, and they would feel like based on this traditional view of relationships and dating that we're supposed to have, that a woman that makes more than you would be somehow emasculating to you. And then there on the other side, you have women that have kind of been thrust into these roles, or grew up seeing the role, like the single parent lifestyle, right? And they may have grown up seeing their mother struggle, or they may, in instance, be struggling themselves, and they're angry. You know what I'm saying? And in some cases, rightfully so, but we ain't all do that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
grown people.
So basically, everybody's mad at each other, but nobody's really trying to like figure out what the real issue is. So we never really get to it. So we just have a bunch of people on the internet being angry every time some shit come up between Sierra and Future and Russell Wilson.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Everybody gets upset.
I found myself on Facebook like, and another thing, motherfucker.
All caps.
It's one thing you'll never see me do.
Argue with people on
I
Facebook.
do not, on the internet.
On the internet.
I do not. You will not
Be like,
see me.
I square up in person,
So
not on the internet.
my feel
I
is
beat your ass in person,
Well, damn.
not in the comment section.
Well,
so
goddamn.
I
That's
feel
right.
like if you don't know me well enough to call me, what the fuck am I arguing with you about?
Well, damn.
Yeah.
I don't care that much about what you think. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to see you. We're never going to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not arguing with people on the internet. But that shit happens all the time.
Indeed.
And I just feel like we kind of just talk at each other, and we all have these kind of talking points. And you know what I'm saying? And it's just nothing. There are very few constructive conversations that happen.
Yeah.
Well,
I've had a couple. Go ahead.
I was going to say, to quote the great Lyndon B. Johnson,
This nigga quoting Lyndon Johnson.
that's right, I'll have those niggas voting Democrat for the next 100 years.
Why out of all quotes?
That's what
Not gonna be the one you use.
I use that
And
because
he did say that shit though.
I
He
use
did
that.
say that, but I want to see where this is going.
I use that because he was the man who came up with the War on Poverty and the Great Society, which one we could argue be. I mean, Patrick Moynihan did the Moynihan report, 1965, 1960. He predicted all this. And so, I mean, pretty much, we've been pretty much at our throats since then. It's like they gave a lot of women, especially black women, you can marry a man or you can marry the government. And a lot of it's like poverty was incentivized. You have more children. You know, it's like, okay, Shawn, I could marry you. What I'm going to get? Well, I might get an apartment. I might get a meager lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera. If I marry the government, where my kids going to have medical, I'm going to get some groceries. I'm going to get a decent apartment. I might even get to go to school for free.
You know, one of my mother's favorite movies is Claudine. Y'all remember that shit?
And it illustrates that.
And they talk about that like the caseworker coming to the house.
Yeah.
And you know, they got like she asked him, does you have a boyfriend? Is he giving you money? You know what I'm saying? You know, if he's giving you money, you gotta report that. So it basically incentivized her not having a man in the household or contributing in any way, because that's going to affect how she's already living, her current standard of living.
And,
you know?
I'm going to say also another historical notable, I would say Gloria Steinem.
You know, they make friends.
Who was an admitted CIA agent, and they said that I forget the black lady that she worked with, I forget her name, but pretty much a lot of their feminist doctrine pitted the men against the women. They said that's what they used to kind of slow down the civil rights movement, to pit the men against the women. And I think a lot of us, we're not unaware of these historical facts, and even if we might feel one way or other about these historical facts, but I think we need to look at those so it would give us perspective to say, to see, just like you said, this is not something arbitrary. This is not something that happened out of thin air. This is arguing. This was kind of planned. It's like, who benefits from us being divided? You know,
those do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
And I'm just saying, and that's pretty much what we're doing. And I think, unfortunately, when I was in college, they used to tell us, the black man is the most feared person in the world. I never understood that. But as I got older, I did, because, just think about it. Black people went from being illiterate and working in plantations to being in Congress in less than 100 years.
Well, really in Reconstruction, that's a era of history that people really talk about.
But I'm just saying that's just a powerful thing. So you have to keep us divided. They probably know more about our history than we are. It kind of reminds me of that movie Toy Story, when Woody, and I forget the girl, and Woody just saw his world as in that guy's toy room. And she just looked at him. She's like, you don't know who you are, because Woody didn't know that he had play sets. He had a whole TV show about him. He was a pretty big deal, but he had no idea. And I feel like we as black people, we don't know how much of a big deal.
So make me go watch Toy Story tomorrow.
Just saying. It's like we don't know how much of a big deal we are. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the things that we think are right are wrong. And a lot of things we think are wrong and right. And I think it's like we talk about dating, and it's like, I think it's very true when they say the most political statement you can make is who you cohabitate with. Because like you guys were talking about the corporate situation, if I come to the corporate meeting or the corporate banquet with Becky, I'm looking at it as a way. If I come in there with, let's say if I come in there with her, they're like, oh, I'm going to have to watch how I talk to him. He might think a little bit highly of himself. I can't make these black jokes.
Hey, I get that. My lady is white. So I get that especially when I made it public on Facebook, I lost friends.
It's very political statement, bro.
Not like close friends, but like Facebook friends. So people that follow me on IG like, oh, nigga, fuck you. I'm like, what did I do?
It's a very
know what you did,
right?
Right. Like
you lover.
But just
it's a very political statement. But I think we just have to realize that we are a bigger deal than we are, and that really, I think if we solve the broken family problem, I think a lot of the other problems would solve themselves.
A lot of that shit is based on economics. So you go ahead.
No, I appreciate the both of you sharing perspectives, because I think for me to be able to answer in the way that I want to answer, it comes with the perspective of taking you all's viewpoint into consideration. So let me be the first one.
Oh, damn.
To understand
that
like black men have a hurdle to go through. And essentially a lot of what I feel you all are missing in the conversation is the understanding of what black men have to necessarily go through in this community and in this country. That if we are going to talk about modern dating, we have to bring in the statistics of police brutality. We have to bring in the statistics that more black men are going to be brutalized, and that they are going to be the ones that get harsher sentences than everybody else. So we do not even start off with enough black men available for dating, because we are, as black women, aware of how they treat black men. They put you all in prison for shit.
Yeah.
They pull y'all over for shit.
All the time.
They make sure that they are finding ways to throw a ball in your hand and to tell you that education is not important every fucking time that you all come up to school. Right. They're finding ways to put you in the military before they put you into secondary or higher education. And as a Black woman, I am very well versed with the things that Black men have to go through, because that is something that is very aware to my history, to my understanding as a Black woman. And I think that's one thing that we as Black women can understand about Black men, because what we share is race. Right. We understand race better than any other demographic about what Black men have to go through, because we go through it as well, but from a different perspective. Right. So I, as a woman who grew up with her dad, as a woman who had her brother, my heart goes out to the Black men who have to go out into the society every fucking day and figure out a way to make it back home in a safe manner. It's difficult for you all. It is hard for you all. And it is something that if you all don't hear it as at least recent, I at least want to bring it to the forefront. That it is very difficult for the experience and for the livelihood that you all live on a day-to-day basis, understanding systemically what you all have to go through.
I appreciate that.
Oh, damn. You know what I'm saying?
I want to ask you, though, because I do follow you. And you talking real nice right now.
Right, for real. For real.
That ain't always the case.
I mean it. I mean what I just said.
And I know. I absolutely 100% believe you mean it. And I'm not saying when you do talk not nicely that you don't have a point. Indeed. But
sometimes.
I want. So what are your issues? What issues that you find are happening or existing between men and women now?
From my perspective, and we're just gonna keep it within the Black community, because I can touch on what white women have done from a feminist perspective, and I do want to touch on that because I want to make sure that I am able to break down the difference between what white women in the space of feminism have fought for that's different from what Black women have fought for, because I think a lot of the talking points right now are around what white women have fought for, and a lot of Black men, when they have their talking points, when they have their different opinions, they apply those opinions to Black women and feminism, where Black women had nothing to fucking do with that.
Zero.
So I do want to kind of like touch on that later on.
Right.
But when I think about modern dating and some of the problems, for me, it just boils down to the fact that there are more available Black women who are ready to be married, who are ready to date, who are ready for serious relationships, and the type of serious relationship that they are ready for. There are more Black women available than there are Black men. Good. At the end of the day, for me, it is a numbers phenomenon. And those numbers are dependent upon multiple things. For instance, I went to DePaul. That is a PWI, a white ass school. So when
that's in the brochure. Okay.
It is in the brochure. You won't see a nigga for miles in that
brochure
goddamn brochure. So when I graduated, there were two different types of graduations, similar to a lot of other schools. Like even U of I. Like U of I has a Black homecoming and they have a white homecoming because they understand that the culture is necessary for it.
Yeah.
So for my school, there was a Black graduation and there was a graduation that everybody else was going to. At my Black graduation, we had a keynote speaker who started off his keynote with, "Black men, congratulations. You have upped your real estate. People are going to want you. People are going to be clamoring over you. You are now going to be the cream of the crop. People are going to want to marry you. Companies are going to want you because you are a black man who has beat the odds. Black women,
Oh, snap.
You have set yourself up for failure.
Ooh.
You are now setting yourself up to be the lesser of the less. Ooh. And for some reason, and here's the thing, because I can be self-aware in a lot of different spaces. What he said was not wrong.
Indeed.
I have a problem with the fact that he used our Black ass graduation to say it. Right. I have a problem with the fact that that was the time that you wanted to say all of that shit.
Say that.
But with him saying that Black women getting an education, we have set ourselves up. But black men getting an education, they have set themselves free, was a problem for me. But I had to sit with it to understand what he was saying. Yeah. And I understand what he was saying is that for a black woman and for black women in general, we as a whole have more education than black men as a whole. Yeah. So if we just want to be equally yoked, that is going to be a difficult task for us if we want to stay in the black community. For us to find a partner where it's not where it's not the partner makes more money than us. A lot of black women go into spaces where we're making the same amount of money or more than our partners.
A black man can kind of have the same argument. You might say, I need a woman who makes the same or less.
But there's less black men making that argument than black women. There's more black women. There's more black women who can require that black men make more money and they can't. Than black men requiring that their partner and black women make more money and they can't. When black men make that request that they want a black woman, and I advise, because I'm one of those women, I advise for black men to make that request, that they are looking for a black woman that financially got her shit together, that she is understanding of her worth financially. She got a 401k. She got a Roth investment. She understands that she got some investments in some property. She got some investments in business. A black man can make that request and actually find that woman. A black woman can make that request and it'd be high hell before I find that man. So we're not in a space where there are enough black men available that can equally be yoked to us and what we have than the opposite. So a lot of black women are in a space right now where we have to open up our dating preferences to Hispanic men, to white men, to European men, to Indian men, because if we are looking for a specific type of thing, which in my opinion is not, because I know the conversation is around, a lot of black women are looking for these drug dealers, for these niggas with money, for these niggas with a certain type of height, for these niggas that dress a certain type of way. That's a very, very small percentage of black women. Those city girls are maybe like 3% of black women overall in what we're looking for. That's a small percent. I agree with
and it's they just got a loud voice.
Right. They're the ones with a loud voice.
Loud and wrong.
The same way that I can say... The same way that I can say that those passport boys are a small percentage, but a loud voice. Those niggas don't speak for y'all.
May I interject?
Go ahead.
Because that's the shit that pisses me off though. When you talk about the passport boys, because I hate. Man, your preference is your preference, bro. If you want to date outside your race, if you want to do whatever, man, love who you love, be who you want to be with, man. I ain't got no issues with that, whatever. But what I do have an issue with is when you want to disparage other people to justify your choices.
Agreed.
And they want to be on some like, black women ain't submissive. Black women ain't this, black women ain't that. So you finna go to like some little foreign country and find you some, the women are submissive over here. You know what I'm saying? All this other shit, some of the niggas get robbed. You know what I'm saying? Because you in a foreign country and they like might just doing it to set your goof ass up. And and this is the shit what I've also talked about before. And this is the thing that a lot of people don't want to accept. Because maybe you just a goofy.
That happens on both
ends. Not that nigga.
Maybe you just a lame ass nigga.
That happens.
And that's why you have a problem. Because just for me, I have been poor as fuck. You know what I'm saying? One of my first jobs my first job out of college, I was making $12 an hour. In 2010, 2 years into fatherhood, I had a job that was paying me $43,000 a year. Right? Nice. Struggling. You know what I'm saying? Still had bitches.
It seems like that's when you get the most. It seems like that's when you get the most bitches, for real.
I had a plethora of bitches.
Yeah.
A plethora of bitches. I love it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro.
It's not about what you got in your pocket.
Yeah,
it's all about your mouth and your game.
And the thing is, man, if you are not getting the desired reactions
or results.
That you have to look at yourself first. And a lot of these motherfuckers want to blame the quote unquote modern woman for all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's really just like I said. All I see it is just a bunch of fucking insecurity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And things where like people see shortcomings within themselves, you know, and just want to project that shit on everybody else.
But can't that be on both sides though?
Absolutely.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Did you all, your mother, think of your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did your mother have a job? Did your mothers work?
My mom worked for a bit, but for the most of my life, no, she didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you all's mothers work?
I did.
Mine's did until I was like maybe like 4.
Okay.
She stopped working.
What did
to be honest with
mothers do when they wasn't working for the corporations or for outside the home? What were they doing then?
Shit, taking care of the house.
Okay.
My mom.
yeah, my mom was my best friend. So like we talked every day. She taught me how to garden. She taught me how to
I love that.
all type shit. Yeah.
How about you?
My mom, she's just making sure I was taken care of, and on the side she DJ.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Your grandmothers. Did your grandmothers work?
My granny worked. My granny was a cook.
Your grandmother was a cook.
Yeah, my granny was a cook.
How about you all's grandmother?
She worked on the railroad.
You know what?
Oh shit, she's an OG for real.
Yeah.
So I had when I my grandmother, I don't know what she did. But she always had she probably did, G, because she used to always my grandmother.
Whenever you say motherfucker, I don't know what she did.
Black
but she had money.
back then knew how to make a way out of no way. So that's okay.
My dad, his mother and dad was from the west side of Chicago, 14th and Spalding. We used to go over their house every Saturday. They had a brownstone that they both owned all the way. Her best friend stayed on the top floor, and we used to cut their grass every Saturday. And we would go downstairs in the basement, and my grandmother had it laid out. Like she had a full bar, television, pool table. We had a pinball machine. Oh, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she always had the long black mink jacket.
Niggas had money.
Grandma shit.
And I never knew what she did because after my grandfather passed, you know what I'm saying, she was still well off.
Good to go.
You don't know because it wasn't your motherfucking business.
It wasn't none of my motherfucking business.
Right.
Them the family secrets.
She's like, man, your business.
Because I used to sit there and I specifically remembered when she passed away, she had sold the house and she moved on 170 King Drive. She had a nice little two bedroom joint right off the corner. Real nice. But she had her Paris furniture that was in there with still the plastic covers.
Of course.
You feel what I'm saying?
Velvet.
And one day I was over there. I was just like, hey, Dad, what does Grandma do?
He's like, man, your business, son.
Because she always give me $100 every birthday.
Oh, snap.
You know what I'm saying? Just randomly, she'll sneak some money in my pocket. He like, ain't none of your goddamn business what she does.
Let me ask this. Do you all have a relationship with your great-grandmother, and did your great-grandmother work?
No.
Nah, I didn't.
I never got a chance to meet him.
Yeah, I didn't.
No.
My grandma, on my paternal grandparents, I never met. And my maternal grandmother died when I was 16. Yeah.
I'm sorry, love. You got a
all right.
Eyelash. She did the boomerang. Let me get
That's that nurturing black woman motherly shit that just all y'all have innately. It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful. I love y'all, man. I really do. I know what I'm saying, man. I just, and everybody got their preferences, man. Like I was saying, but it's just, man, I can't, man. I gotta have me a black woman, Joe.
Look, you don't know how to say, man. Look, I call hell.
Hey, man, I love Shayla.
But
Shayla's
yeah,
my favorite cat lady.
Like I always tell her, you can't help who you fall in love with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like me and her, like best friends.
Happy tubes.
Out of all this time, we've never had an argument.
Bro, you like it? I love it.
So we just.
This is why I ask. Because what I have realized recently with a lot of black men specifically saying that they want their women to be domestic, they want their women to be in the home, they want their women to clean, they want their women to cook, they want their women to be the caretaker of children. I know that is a white person talking point because, and from what you all just expressed to me, we do not have an experience of women in our culture not working. Your great-grandmothers worked. Your grandmothers, from what you just expressed to me, worked. And some of you all's mothers had an opportunity not to. So when we hear so many black men with the podcast talking about how they want a domestic wife, they want a woman, specifically a black woman who is feminine enough to work in the home, to take care of the house from a cooking and cleaning perspective, to take care of children. I know that is a white person talking point because since the beginning of time, black women have always worked.
But you still got some domesticated black women out here, though.
This is what I want you to understand. That domestication comes from domesticating white homes. That domestication comes from black women raising white children. That domestication comes from black women raising white homes, from them cleaning white homes,
at their
from
job.
them taking care from their jobs. Because outside of every other woman in this country, black women next to black men, when we get the fuck up, you go to work, I go to work. It has always been a 2-income household since the beginning of the Emancipation Proclamation, where black women on side of black men got the fuck up and went to go work. When feminism, which I don't specify myself as a feminist, I am a womanist for that very point. Feminism fought for the fact that they wanted to work. Black women been working. Their fight was not our fight. What the fuck white women were fighting for had nothing to do with me. If anything,
CIA.
those white women took our bodies and our numbers for granted, and they used us to push their narrative, even though we had nothing to do with the end goal. So black women, from what you all just specified to me, have always been a 2-partnership household. It has always been a 2-income household. So what I am asking for black men currently is to honor our history, that black women have never had the joy, or we never had the option, or we never had the wherewithal, or we never had the fact that we could just sit down and be gentle, where we were able to actually sit home and not work. It's very interesting that black men are asking for us to be domesticated, where our history from your mothers, from your grandmothers, from your great-grandmothers have never had an opportunity to sit the fuck down.
God damn.
We don't come from rest. Black women don't know rest. We know perseverance. We know getting the fuck up and working in somebody else's home for domestication. We understand that our households, even when black men, and I just told my friend about this from in South Carolina in Greenville, when there was an option for black women to sit the fuck down, and this is credit to black men. Black men worked their asses off, lived their lives, and died in World War I. They came back home as veterans, and they had an option to get a stipend from the country. They had an option to the GI Bill. That was the first time that us as black people had an option for more. And because of that, a lot of black women did not have to work, because their black man was able to bring home a stipend from the government, and they were able to make enough money where the black women did not have to work. And specifically in Greenville, South Carolina, which is where my company is based, so I know this history, there was a law that went into effect, because now that black women were not able to work because their black man was taking care of them, right? This is the first time in history that black women could be that demure, feminine, at-home caretaker that y'all wanted. This is the first time in history, right? That means that these black women were not taking care of white children. That means that in first time in history, these black women were not taking care of white homes. They were not They were not cooking for these white individuals. That means that these white women had to do servitude on their own, and they were upset about it. That black women had an option because of their black man, that they did not have to work. And what did Greenville, South Carolina do? They wrote in history, in law, that it was now against the law for black women to not work. Wow. It was against the law for white women to not be a servitude. It was against the law for black women to not be in servitude to white women. It was now against the law for black women to not work, for white women taking care of their children, taking care of their home, and actually cooking their meals. Where black women would have loved to have the option to be that domestic, demure, feminine, institutionalized individual that you all are asking for, but we have never had that. When I hear black men have that conversation, that is a white person talking point, because only white women have had the option to sit the fuck at home. Only white women have had the option to not work. Black women have always had to work. If anything, as me being a millennial and me being born into the prize of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which means in the 70s is only when women have the right to own homes and have home loans without a man co-signer. We were able to have bank loans without a male co-signer. We were able to have car loans without a male co-signer. That is when Gen X started to see it, and millennials like myself were born into it. So this is the first time that we even had an option as Black women to not work. But that is not our history. White women and them being domesticated and them being at home raising children and cooking food. That, to a certain extent, that's not even a fucking history. Because Black women did that shit for them.
For the most part.
Black women did that shit for them. So when Black men say that our Black women are not feminine, I just want them to take a step back and consider the history that we come from. I want you all to consider the history of your mothers. I want you all to consider the history of your grandmothers, because every single one of you all around this table told me your grandmother had to work. When did the women in your family actually have an opportunity to sit the fuck down and just care about the house and care about the children?
Now, my mom, it ended up happening as like a kind of a circumstance that precipitated her being at home for a while.
Yeah.
But she definitely, like, when I was a shorty, she worked. Like, she had, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, yeah, it was
You had
necessary.
to.
It was a thing. It was
That is not our
necessary.
reality.
Yeah.
When Black men are asking for these feminine, docile, demure women who know how to raise a family, who know how to clean a house, who know how to cook dinner, that is not, you all are talking to women who have never had that experience.
I mean,
that's how I know that it's a white person talking point, because Black women have had a completely different history than every other woman in this country.
So to your point, if you really even think about it, even like look at the art that we produce.
Yeah.
So you look at all the sitcoms and all like the movies and shit. Like it wasn't no stay-at-home moms and none of these shit. Claire Huxtable had a
Even
job.
Claire Huxtable had a full-time
you know what
job.
I'm saying?
Law firm.
Taking care of her fucking kids, and she a full-blown lawyer.
Yeah.
Family Matters. What did the mom do?
Oh no, but she had a
She
job.
did
She was a
anything.
teacher.
She was a teacher.
She was a teacher, right? She was in
a teacher.
education.
She was a
Even
teacher.
Hillary, even like when I think of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Aunt Viv was also an educator.
Yeah.
Every Black woman you've seen has a job.
So would we say that this Black women working, that it's a cultural thing or a legal thing?
It's a both.
Both, yeah.
Because I will use Greenville, South Carolina from a legal perspective, that it was against the law for Black women to not have a job. When Black women wanted to be feminine, when Black women wanted to sit the fuck down and take care of your children, take care of your house, law told them they couldn't, because they had to report back to that white household. So for Black women, we don't have that experience, but we're told that we are less than because we don't have that experience. We are told that we're not good enough because we don't have that experience. But historically, we never were given the experience of just being able to take care of our community and take care of our family. We've always had to report out.
So could a Black man retort that and say, well, historically, we never had experience of being able to take care of the wife and the kids solely?
You can. And at that point, I would like for us to have a more realistic conversation. But Black men approach the conversation with, we know everything. We got everything. We know what the fuck is going on. You sit the fuck down. You shut the fuck up, and I tell you what to do. If we were able to enter the conversation without that regard, I think we would be able to find more holistic understanding between one another.
So I just want to, I think this is kind of indicative of a larger issue, whereas this been created by the internet largely. It wasn't always this way, but the internet, social media has increased this problem exponentially.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people just aren't grounded in reality.
They don't
In
know
any
history.
aspect of life.
They're not able to use the information that I'm using or the information that you all are using for a more cohesive conversation.
And think about it.
around
It's
this.
there. It's through Google. It's through books. The
Hell,
knowledge
you
is there.
can use your own personal experiences. at
Right.
this point.
Yeah.
If your mother worked, how dare you demand that these other women are out here cooking your food and raising your children when your mama wasn't able to even do that?
And to that point, I kind of want to, because I want to ask you about something else. There's something else that I noticed in this kind of manosphere, podcasting, internet space. Is that a lot of times men that were raised by single mothers hate single mothers.
Yeah.
It is the oddest shit.
I don't think it's odd at all.
Well, I understand why. I understand why it is, but the behavior to me is still odd.
I mean, you should definitely honor your mother, but if you come from it's like I was telling somebody, as a man, you've witnessed how women treat men and interact with men since you were a kid because you were raised by a single mom. Whereas women, they don't really get to witness, for the same reason, they don't really get to witness the interaction between men and women until maybe high school or college because their mom raised them solely.
I will say, as a woman, we interact with that experience just as young as black men do.
Okay.
We see it just as early as black men do. We do.
But to that, I'm just saying, like, I could see how black men maybe collectively can have a vitriol. I mean, it's a case by case basis,
right,
of course, but you got vitriol against a single mom because you may feel like, one, it's like, why you and my dad didn't get along? You don't have an understanding of that. I don't have certain tools because a man didn't teach me. You pitted me against my father and other males, and because you put me in this situation, I went and sought masculine energy maybe through gangs or some other avenue where
well, not even that. We had a person before that literally said his mother never said she loved him or never hugged him.
These type of things.
Because if a single mom, for single mothers out there, they work so much to provide for their family and to put their sons through school. So sometimes you get emotionally detached because you wanted that hug, you wanted that affection, and then when you get older, you kind of take it out on the single mother in some type of mental space.
But see, that's what I led into this conversation with talking about accountability. That's the issue with your mother. Not with all mothers.
Indeed.
Exactly. That's the issue with your mother. Indeed. That's shit that you need to deal with. And there's a lot of trauma and issues that collectively we don't deal with.
Indeed.
And as individuals that play themselves out in their interactions every day. And until...
That's the wildcat. Don't worry about it.
All right.
That's the other cat we rescued.
You got a goddamn tiger at this point.
Yeah. He be singing. Yeah. At nighttime, he be blowing.
That's wild. but until
Johnny Gills over here.
There you go.
But until it's normal for people to be accountable to themselves. But I feel like a lot of times with the internet and the advent of this space, that people don't necessarily have to. They can go and find people that are just as fucked up as they are. And
breed off of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And TikTok will bring them right to your door.
And so that's what I'm saying. So you right.
I'm just saying.
You can exist in almost in an alternate reality without ever really having to deal with your shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but you're gonna keep having because one of my mother's favorite saying is you have to face reality. She told me that all the time.
Who wants to do that?
But
it's difficult.
Yeah,
so
it is.
A lot of people don't.
But the thing is, if you don't face reality, then you're gonna keep running into the same situations. The same shit is gonna happen to you, and you're gonna keep blaming other people. But it's never gonna stop. You're never gonna fix it. And but that also plays us out. So you got your in like as a community because we keep having the same conversations, talking about the same shit over and over and over again, and nobody wants to deal with what the real issue is within ourselves. So it plays out, like I said, it plays out individually and collectively.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the key to that is that because embracing reality and dealing with what's going on in my reality, a lot of times that involves me disembarking from a culture of dysfunction. If I belong to a culture of dysfunction, now that I'm trying to get on the quote-unquote straight path and face my reality, now people are going to try to excommunicate me from the culture.
You're not wrong. It's gonna be a trial and tribulation for you to elevate and be in that different space where you have the answers and you are mitigating those issues in a healthy type of way. I agree.
But it's hard because I'm unfortunately like the black women piece. So now if I've been exposed to say maybe I've been in Europe or wherever or Arizona, wherever I've seen functional families. And now that I want a woman like my roommate Brad, his mom is loving, loves him, etc., etc. I'm like, damn, I want a woman like that too. But I can't have a black woman like that because she has historical obstacles. But then
why do you feel that a black woman would not be available or ready for that type of relationship? I think that is very stereotypical.
No, what I'm saying, I'm saying that because of the reasons that you mentioned. You're saying because historically they didn't see that, so it's like they have an issue with being that. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm just saying, if I see like Brad's mom is super loving, when I get back home to Keisha, well then her mom didn't work, her grandma had to work, etc., etc., she may have a harder time. And I mean, I think that's a valuable point they may have, but it's like, I think we have to step away from the culture, men and women. Just because your mom had to work and she had to work, that doesn't mean you can't love your child or love your husband or step away from that. And then the same for males. That's what I'm saying. I feel like we have to really be able to step away from the culture and really, really redefine the culture, and not let social media and TikTok tell us what our culture, what we should be doing.
To add to your point, because I completely agree, there is a opportunity for us to change how we look at culturally, how we support families, how relationships come into family. For instance, I will use your mom and your mom as an example of like, they did not have to work as hard as the women in their families' predecessors. They had an opportunity to work from home. Your mom had an opportunity to work from home. That means that if they had daughters, they saw something different. That means that we are now, as Gen X, as millennials, raising a different sect of women where there's an understanding of the importance of family. And what's even more important is that we have an understanding that family is so important that being a single mom is not going to give you enough energy or enough knowledge to be able to raise those children appropriately. To be a single mom is so fucking difficult, and we put so much on that single mom, which it boggles my mind how we demonize single moms in our culture because they are trying the best that they can, and being a single mom is so fucking difficult. We understand the statistics around being raised by a single mom, which I think we need to say. We need to shift it away from single moms to absentee fathers.
And see, that's a key point.
And that's where it's like we understand that single moms / absentee fathers mean that those children are going to grow up with more difficult times in school. We know that they are more open to suspensions. We understand that those type of children are going to be more open to getting into trouble where that might land them in juvenile detention.
Most of us.
We know the statistics for that. But we blame only single mothers who are still there trying their fucking best. And I will be the first one to say that single moms and the effort they put out is not good enough. We always have needed two parents to make sure that this shit works. So we have a lot of single moms who are not going to be able to hit the mark because they're trying the best they can. And no matter how hard they try, they're not going to be able to hit the mark. But at the same time, we know the statistics that come with being raised by a single mother. But we still hear so many men who don't jump their asses in, who don't tag team the single mom and be like, I got it, I'm going to take over. We have a lot of men who decided to leave, who decided to opt out, who are like, I don't want to be a daddy. I didn't sign up to be a daddy. Fuck it. So we have a lot of those instances going on. Understanding the statistics that we know about absentee fathers and about single mother homes. And we see that come out in the display of children that are going to detention centers and display of children going to prison. Unfortunately. It's super unfortunate. But I, with you, want to talk solutions. One of those solutions is that single mothers don't need to be doing it by themselves. We do need a co-parenting situation where even if there's fathers that are like, I don't want to be with her, fine, I'm not asking you to be with her, but that baby needs you. That baby needs you. And there's a lot of men, to your point about self-awareness and accountability earlier, a lot of men are because it has not been something that our community as a whole sticks their asses down with. But a lot of men are able to walk away from their responsibilities and still be homeboys, still be praised in the community, still be a big brother to somebody else, even though they don't honor their responsibilities in their community. And I think that if we're thinking about futuristically what that does to a child, I don't give a fuck if you like that lady or not. Be there for your kid.
I agree with that, but I would say, I think more importantly, I would have to ask women. I mean, we all have this knowledge of single motherhood. It's not your ideal situation.
It is not.
So I would ask a lot of women, why would you put yourself in that situation? I met this young lady. She told me that she was going to have a baby because she said, I will finally have somebody in the world who loves me for me. Yeah. So I'm like, I would want to talk to young ladies like, why would you put yourself in a situation? Granted, I mean, it's a lot of bum-ass niggas who going to do whatever. I could say whatever to you to get into your pants. But it's like, unfortunately, I think the burden unfairly hinges on the woman because a man can tell you anything, but at the end of the day, if you have a child, if he's a bum before you met, he's going to be a bum after you met him. Either he doesn't have the money to pay child support or he's not going to pay child support. So I think the question is not to rag on women, but why would you put yourself in that situation? It may be from trauma. You need somebody who loves you, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But I think if women would choose better, I think men would act better. Because, I mean, I know it's little young ladies right now will have sex unprotected, et cetera, et cetera. Again, men should definitely be responsible, especially after the baby is born. But I think women, I would ask women, why would you put yourself in a situation? I know,
but not even that. I mean, we got to wrap it up because we always like 2 hours right now.
Yeah,
but
I know.
But the thing about it is, not even with that part, why you didn't put out a condom.
Again, it's like a woman. But again,
that's what birth control is not because birth control, when it comes to men, they don't think they're responsible.
But
shit.
That's why I say because I mean,
don't think they're responsible.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
They let bygones be bygones with their seed, and it's the saddest shit I've ever seen.
Hey, G, I'm bringing rubber.
Right, I'm taking my rubber with me.
Yeah, a lot of men. I've had to ask men to pull a condom out, which is sad. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? A lot of men, and y'all know this. Don't get tested. Don't have condoms appropriately. They don't ask for condoms to be used. Hey, whatever you with, they with. And I want to answer your question about like, why do women just set themselves up for horrible situations? There's a twofold. The first one, which I don't necessarily put on women, but I have to put on our legislation, is that unfortunately, which is where I think it's very interesting that I don't see a lot more men have these conversations, is that depending upon what state you live in, your option for something else is not even considered. Indeed. Because a lot of women aren't even able to get an abortion. There's a decent amount of women who live in certain states where them getting an abortion means that they're going to get jail time. Yeah. So that means that unfortunately we have failed women in those states, or at least men have failed women in those states, that option is taken away from them, that option is taken away from you as a man.
It's not my option.
I'm sorry, honey. You don't live in those states, but for a lot of men who are in those states, the option for abortion is taken away from them as well.
Right. I'm just saying,
because if the woman can't get, it is an option. Because there's a lot of men and there are a lot of women who want the option of abortion, but for those states, that's not available for them anymore. Okay. So a lot of men find themselves in positions that they don't want to be in, where an option was abortion, and that's not available to that man or that woman.
Get in the car, goddammit.
We are looking at a lot of legislation and a lot of laws and a lot of rights that have been stripped away from women that too not only benefit women but benefit men, but because men don't think that they're responsible or they don't have a place in birth control, in womanhood, in abortion, we have gotten the short end of the stick. So now you have women who are in pregnancies that they don't want to be in, that you don't want her to be in, but if she gets an abortion, she goes to fucking jail. That's absolutely asinine.
We could cross state lines, couldn't we?
That's also a federal crime because you cross state lines, so now it's a federal crime, my love.
Yeah, if you find out.
Yes. That is a federal crime.
You be charged with murder.
You are charged for more. You are charged for murder for an abortion. You are charged with a federal crime if you cross state lines from a red state to a blue state to get that option done. That is an option not only taken away from men, but also taken away from women. But men weren't out in the streets. They weren't open. They weren't vocal, which we live in a patriarchal society. So if men wanted this, they would have gotten it. But men were quiet when it came to Roe v. Wade. So now we have the outcome that we have. On the other side of this, for women who are in blue states, and I want to speak to women at this point, is that you do not need to be a product of the environment that you come from. I completely understand that you've seen your mother struggle, you've seen your aunt struggle, you've seen your grandmother struggle. You do not have to struggle as well. I know that we live in a Christian space where they have told you that any and every child is a blessing. If you're not able to feed that child, if you are not mentally prepared for that child, if you're not emotionally prepared for that child, then you are not prepared to be that child's mother. And whatever necessary options you have available to you, please consider them. And I'm not here trying to say that, like, if you had a child when you weren't supposed to have a child, abort it. But I think, unfortunately, a lot of Black women have a conversation with the women in their families about how children will help them and elevate them, where more times than not, we see children be a setback. I want you all to understand that if you do not have the support, if you do not have the wherewithal, if you do not have the mental stability and the finances to take care of that child by yourself, fuck if the father said that he was going to be there or not. If you do not have the space to take care of that child by yourself, get rid of the child, because you are better off as an individual who has the wherewithal for themselves than you have the wherewithal for you and yourself and your child, and you're not prepared for that. And unfortunately, a lot of Black women don't hear that conversation because of Christianity, because of religion, because of them being shamed and killing quote unquote child. Very conservative talking points. I'm not gonna lie. They need to hear it from somebody else, that if you have a child with someone who has specified they don't want that child and you're uncertain about that child too, there is no shame in going down and getting rid of it. There's no shame in that, because at the end of the day, that is a better decision for you than to bring a life into this world and then you are struggling and that child is struggling and that daddy wants nothing to do with it. Please consider your other options.
Please consider all options.
Because a lot of Black women don't have enough self-esteem to understand that they deserve something better. We have seen in the media that the best we can be is Shaniqua on the welfare. We have seen in the media that the best we can be is somebody's baby mama. And I want to tell Black women that you have so much more available to you than being somebody's baby mama and being somebody's welfare queen. And that means if you made an accident and you accidentally got pregnant by a nigga who don't give a fuck about you, who don't even have the money to take care of you and that baby, you are better off getting rid of it than signing yourself up for 18 years of bullshit.
Probably
goddamn.
marry before you carry.
And before we get out of here, I just want to your point, I've seen it from both sides, right? So I've seen where a friend of mine had a baby with somebody who was just like, okay, now if you know he ain't took care of his other kids, what made you think it was gonna be?
That's what I was saying, bro.
But I've also seen it where they would get pregnant. Like one of my homegirls, she got pregnant by this dude, and she didn't even want to go through with it. The dude begged her.
That happens very often.
Begged her. Like I said, this happened. I've seen this happen multiple times. The dude begged her.
Niggas are just as
you know what I'm saying, to keep
horrible
the baby
in this situation as
and
women
then
are.
Everything was all good up until the
came.
baby shower.
Ooh.
Then this nigga don't show up to the baby shower. Then it comes time to
by
go.
then it's too late.
Then it's time. Then it's time for like to have the baby, and the nigga don't show up to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like so that's what I'm saying. Like, so there's a lot of vitriol that's reserved specifically for single mothers when like they don't reproduce asexually, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying it's nothing. I mean, things happen, but I would have to say it's nothing to be celebrated.
No,
it's nothing.
Being a single mom, that's nothing to be celebrated.
Not really. No, I would say on the micro level, yes. Macro level, no, not at all.
Well, I mean, for the
But
sake
these
of the
women,
family.
for some of them, don't decide to be single mothers because niggas are really good at showing you one particular space of who they are and then switching up towards the end. I've seen it in my own life. He is also talking about the fact that he has seen these niggas switch up in own
several
life.
times.
So to your point, and I have to just express this to a whole bunch of other women, and to tell you the truth, marriage is not even the end all be all, because you could get married to a nigga and get pregnant by your husband and he still not act right. So at the end of the day, women, unless you want that baby and you are prepared to take care of that baby by yourself, don't have no babies. You cannot depend on these men. You cannot trust these men. And you cannot stand these men to be fathers that they say that they want to be. And if they come in and help, great. But unless you can take care of that baby financially and you want that baby, don't have that baby.
Well, all right.
On that note.
Well,
time to get the fuck out of here because we well over 2 hours now.
Man, yeah.
Great content though. Great content.
Yeah.
Have some amazing combo.
Great conversation.
Yes.
I thought we was
and
gonna
all.
talk about like some crazy ass dates. You know what I mean?
Nah, we ain't talking
Hair
about none of that
falling
shit.
off.
We didn't even get to the date.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to make sure
saying?
my ladies knew That like they have more options out there.
But
You know, you
that
rub,
could be
you
the
say
end
goodbye
result
to a
of
nigga, you
date,
rub his
nigga.
head and his hair is on your hand. You be like,
Hey.
damn, my nigga, like, what's this right here?
What if you try and hit a girl from the back?
My shit's all natural. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
That's why I took the hat off.
Okay, all right. Let's
I
see.
shave-
Let's
He's
see.
like, you can rub on it whenever you want
I
to.
shave.
Right. And he's like, I
So-
shave for these just
Well,
so
damn.
somebody can rub on it.
But he finna fall asleep.
Well, actually,
For
I shave,
real,
I shave
damn.
every day because I just like the way it looks. The stubble doesn't look right. If you
Yeah.
if
I got a
you
little
gonna rock
stubble.
the baldy, man, you gotta make
got
it.
gotta do it right.
I can't be walking around
Right.
with George Jefferson. and
Right.
shit.
Like a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
little
yeah.
Tupac
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Like,
Okay,
I
damn,
got-
she about to see the future over there.
Well, it has been a great pleasure
Shea
to
butter, my
have
nigga,
you.
shea butter.
Damn, okay.
It's been a
Noted.
great pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Absolutely. It's been
Yes,
great.
yes,
It's been great.
yes.
Thank you.
Another first.
Thank you.
in
Where
women's history,
where
goddamn it.
can they follow you at?
You can follow me on Tactless_radio, Instagram, full name Tactless Radio on TikTok, Facebook. My Gmail is tactlessradio@gmail.com. I'm sorry, it is tactlesspodcast@gmail.com. Please hit me up. Follow me everywhere. I am 62 episodes deep.
God damn.
So there's a lot to listen to. There's a lot to get familiar with.
Are you weekly, bi-weekly, monthly?
I
Or you
am
have-
weekly, and then life happens, and then I become bi-weekly. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie.
Hey,
She's
hey,
I'm
trans
not gonna lie.
weekly.
Hey,
I-
sometimes.
Yeah.
I am trans weekly.
Hey, shit. Sometimes shit. Life. Life
No,
fucking
it happens.
happens.
No,
these
life
days.
be happening. Life
I
definitely
be trying
happened
to
to me. at
deliver
least the last few
content
weeks.
to y'all on a weekly
No, it happens,
basis,
though. It
but
happens.
life happens,
Indeed.
and I
No,
have
it
to use the energy that I have to save me.
Well,
so
damn.
I will get to y'all when I can, but
Hey,
I am
yeah.
back
Damn.
in it. So it is a weekly
Okay, back
podcast.
in it to win it.
Word.
In a minute.
Where they can find you at, my mans?
IHOP, Waffle House. No. Same place. Star Photo Pics, Instagram. You understand me?
Real, what up? Where they follow you at, man?
Rell the producer 914 on Instagram. Also 914 Media Group. Also on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
95th Redline Station.
Absolutely.
Selling
Fuck not.
socks and fruities.
If somebody told
Selling
you
socks and
that they saw
fruities.
Rell on the red line, it's a motherfucking lie.
I'll be like,
They
man,
ain't seen me, Joe.
It's
I'll
probably
call
true.
your line ASAP. You okay?
Like, damn,
You
bro.
ain't
Why
You
you
got
back?
something to tell us?
Nah,
You want me to
ain't-
Can get an Uber, nigga, then?
You ain't seen me on the red line since 2016, bro.
Oh,
Ain't happened.
Well,
I ain't
damn.
driving. I anywhere, nigga. If it requires to take the train, I'm not going.
Well, damn.
I'll take the metro. I'll take the metro,
Wow.
nigga.
Right.
I'm not getting on the red line no more.
Well,
They've seen
damn.
that.
Right,
I've
man.
had my fill.
Well, goddamn.
Well, this concludes episode 36 of Easily Offended Podcast. I'm your boy L Boogie, class of 1979. Make sure y'all check us out on all social media platforms. Really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all get those tickets to Summer Fest. Make sure y'all tune in to Tactless Radio. And we out, man. Peace.
Bye.